Best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health. Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/fax or
Here we go.
include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, we got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into today. It is the airing of Grievance Friday. And, of course, it's also...
Yes, it's ladies' night over night.
That's right. Mrs. on the radio is going to be joining us today. We got plenty of news to talk about with her, other stories, your phone calls at 860-522-9842 on WTIC News Talk 1080. Right now, we are patiently waiting for the sentencing of who are connected with the show, who are there at the court, in the courtroom, many of which will be on the show today to get a response in real time to the sentencing of Richard Barrington. For those of you who do not know, Richard Barrington, now 20, back in 2023 when he was 18 years old, was pulled over for running red lights. As the police officers pulled him over and was approaching the vehicle, Richard Barrington drove off. No high-speed chase ensued, according to reports. But the young Barrington continued to run through red lights to the point where he crashed into an officer's vehicle. The officer in the passenger side was Detective Bobby Garden, who suffered critical injuries in that crash, subsequently dying. Richard Barrington has pled out, and now must go through sentencing. What that sentencing may look like, many people believe it looks like a 20-year sentence for the young man. If that happens, he could be out. Was he 20 now? He could be out when he's 40. Many members of his family don't think that that's enough. They think that he should do a considerably longer time. I'm going to leave that to their family. I probably would feel the same way if it were mine. It is difficult for me outside of that to feel that way, but I understand where the Garden family is on this. And again, if we are allowed to, and we have enough time, we will speak to Detective Bobby Garden's brother, Will Garden. He has agreed to come on if he is given the opportunity, should this sentencing happen during the show. If not, on backup, we have Sergeant James Rutowski. He is the president of the Hartford Police Union. And also former Hartford police officer Jill Kiddick is on standby as well. We'll get a statement from either one of them because they are at the courtroom. But I got to talk about something that I know I'm going to get hell for. Don't care. It was brought to my attention that the folks of Black Lives Matter 860 are present. I understand that they were asked to leave. They refused. I understand that they're still at the courthouse. What their presence is there for, I don't know. Other than the fact that Richard Barrington is black, I don't see the reason for Black Lives Matter to be there. Maybe for moral support, but I don't think that's the intent of Black Lives Matter 860. If a group wants to be more polarizing, this is a way to do it. Richard Barrington had no criminal record when he was pulled over. According to reports, he had no criminal record. He ran 2 stoplights before he was pulled over. He chose to flee. In doing so, that's the tightrope we talk about here on the show. In doing so, by not doing what was required of him once he had been caught doing something wrong, facing his consequences, he fled. And now a life has been extinguished because of his choices. Black Lives Matter 860. What is your role in showing up at the courtroom, aside from just letting Richard know that he's not alone? Hey, we understand what you've done. I just don't want you to feel as though you've been abandoned. We're Christian folks. We forgive. We're here to just show you support. We know that's not why Black Lives Matter 860 is there. Because they've already posted inflammatory comments about family members putting up pictures of Detective Bobby Garton. Why? Because they don't want it to be lost on this judge that a life was taken, a young life, unnecessarily, while he was doing his job, going to another call. He was on the road, Detective Garton was on the road unrelated to Richard Barrington. He was doing his job as a police officer, risking his life, and lost it. There's a price to be paid for that. And if Black Lives Matter 860 shows up at the courtroom and didn't go over to Bobby Garton's family and say to them, our condolences. We are saddened for your loss. We hope that Richard pays for his crimes, but we're just here as moral support. We are not here to suggest that he is being treated unfairly. We are not here to suggest that this is a black thing or a racial thing. We want to bring unity. But you didn't do that. You have no intention of doing that. You want to turn this man's death and the sentencing for his death into a racial issue. Why? What good does that do? And who are you there representing outside of Richard Barrington? Are you there representing all black kids? All black people? Are you injecting yourself racially into this situation, this already sad situation, where somebody's about to lose close to 20 years of their life? A man who had no criminal record and his first criminal charge is manslaughter, taking another man's life? You don't think that you should cool the tensions here? Maybe not create them? Because what did Detective Bobby Garton do to draw the ire of Black Lives Matter 860? Die? At the hands of somebody who was reckless on the road? What was Detective Bobby Garton's crime? What is there for black folks to be upset about? Nothing. But you want people to be angry. So let me, instead of criticize you, let me speak to the family members and supporters of Detective Bobby Garden. Please reserve your ire for the clearly misguided members of Black Lives Matter 860. Whoever is there in that courtroom, draw your ire towards them. Decent folks, no matter what stripe they are, they send their condolences to you and hope that your family is somewhat made whole, because they can't bring Bobby back. I just want you to choose goodness over the evil that's being injected into this. They are there to anger you, to push your buttons, to get you out of character. You already have righteous indignation. Maintain it. Good people, no matter, again, what your stripe is, stand together with this family. Wish Richard well. Hopefully he gets the rehabilitation that's necessary. And then move on. But don't let them inject any hate into this. It's unnecessary. It isn't even warranted. I was sickened when I saw it. I didn't even expect that to happen, to even see that picture. But Mark in West Hartford posted that picture of those people sitting in the courtroom from Black Lives Matter 860. And the first thing that ran through my mind was, what? This isn't even a case that looks like Michael Brown. Freddie Gray. Wasn't even the officer lost his life. But I have a theory. I do have a theory. And I hope members or supporters of Black Lives Matter 860 are listening. I have a feeling I know why you're there. And it goes a little something like this. You ain't got nothing. You ain't had a racial issue in months, in maybe a year or so. You've been isolated, set aside. You've had nothing to protest. You are desperate. You are desperate for relevance. You can't fundraise. You got no media attention. People have forgotten who you are. And out of desperation, you have attached yourself to a story where you have no wins. There's no upside to being there for Richard Barrington, a young man who is admitted to the crimes that he's committed, who is accepting his faith, is accepting his responsibility. This runs counter to everything that Black Lives Matter stands for. But in a desperate attempt to get in the paper or to have something written about you, you show up here. You should be ashamed of yourself. And everyone should respond by ignoring you. Not me, on the other hand. I'm here to beat up on these hustlers. Leave that to me. The only wind I will put under the sails of members of Black Lives Matter or Black Lives Matter 860 is a negative one. If anyone talks about them, if anyone even considers them a topic, it will be based upon me taking a big fat dump on them. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And when you were asked to leave, you should have. But I think we all know you're desperate. Why? Is nobody hanging a noose somewhere? No one using a racial slur? Huh? Are the white supremacists not coming out in droves to upset you or to anger you? Let me guess, the Juneteenth festivals weren't exactly all you hoped they would be? You found out that nobody really cares about the stuff you care about? And being ignored, you figured you'd thrust yourself into a story that was unnecessary? Yeah, okay. Richard Barrington is not your martyr. No one thinks he is. He doesn't think he is. He doesn't think he's being unfairly treated here. He knows what he did, and he knows that no one is responsible for where he is today other than him. And no one's going to mix up that story or get it twisted, as the kids like to say. This is cut and dry. Dare I say, it's black and white. Richard Barrington broke the law and caused someone to lose their life. And now he's paying for it. All done. Now, you guys, y'all can go back, chill out at home, and wait until the NAACP's annual meeting, whatever that is, or protest the 4th of July, whatever it is it's got coming up. You can go do that. But it's kind of sad to watch this. If anything, we should all just get together. It's a perfect time to. Like I said, later on the show, we're either going to be speaking to Bobby Garton's brother, Will Garton. If we cannot get him, we've got on deck Sergeant James Rotowski, president of the Hartford Police Union, and also former police officer Jill Kiddick, who's also been a guest on this show. Lost my train of thought there. A guest on this show. We've got them all on deck should we not be able to get Will on the program. But I think he's very enthusiastic to get on and talk about his brother and talk about this court proceeding. A lot of people are down in the courtroom following this case, as we are here on WTIC. So stay tuned for that. The moment that we get word on a sentence, we will bring that to you immediately, if not through me, through John Silva. I do believe they're going to have a camera in the courtroom when the judge passes down sentencing. At least WTNH is showing that they have a camera that they've got set up for that. So if you're interested in that, you can do that as well. All right, stick around. Coming up, we've got more news and more views. The guys are they're texting me live from the courtroom. So if I get any details, I will. We've got Roseanne on the program today for Ladies' Night. We'll talk to her. And, of course, your phone calls. If you've got an airing of grievance, you could do that at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Yeah, that's about it. We'll be back. Stick around. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation. At Brown, Panderas & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ziprecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio.
Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Actual price depends on product and plan purchase. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss medications, but too few can access or afford them. Hers is changing that by offering access to Wegovy GLP-1 treatment through their platform. 50% off retail price. Wegovy is FDA approved for weight loss and can help you lose up to 20% of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. All dosages of Wegovy are offered at the same price and are eligible for FSA and HSA reimbursement. At forhers.com/radio, treatments are prescribed 100% online. A medical provider on their platform will determine if a weight loss plan is right for you, and if prescribed, your plan ships free directly to your door. By getting access to Wegovy through Hers, you get so much more than just medication. You'll get ongoing support along your weight loss journey. See if Wegovy is right for you at forhers.com/radio. That's forhers.com/radio. FORHERS.com/radio.
And now, a WTIC news update.
2:30, Hartford temperature 80 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Well, it's a whole lot less humid around here than it was yesterday. Pretty nice day, mostly sunny. Breeze is up, though. That's having an impact on the golfers at the Travelers. We'll get to that momentarily. The highs today, 80 to 85. The man who was behind the wheel of a vehicle that struck a police cruiser in Hartford 2 years ago, killing a detective and leaving his partner seriously injured, is due to be sentenced today. Richard Barrington was 18 when he fled a traffic stop, hit the cruiser that was on the way to another call. Detective Bobby Garton was killed. Officer Brian Carney survived but was seriously injured. Barrington took a manslaughter plea in the case earlier this year. Week into their war, Israel and Iran have launched new strikes, even as some new diplomatic efforts get underway today in Geneva. The president says he'll wait around 2 weeks or so to see where things go before deciding whether to get the U.S. involved directly. A crash in North Branford earlier today is now a fatal. Happened in the area of Route 80 near the Twin Lakes Crossing strip mall there. That area has since been reopened. That investigation is ongoing. Watertown police say they went to an undisclosed business where a person had his arm caught in a machine. They were able to set the person free with no obvious trauma. And in Granby, police are getting help from the state police in connection with an incident on Hartford Avenue yesterday. It's been deemed a suspicious death. State Police Major Crimes is joining the Granby PD in that investigation. This Travelers Championship leaderboard update being sponsored by the law firm of Brown, Payne, Darris, and Scott. The defending champ, Scotty Scheffler, still leads the pack through 16. He is at 11 under. Justin Thomas is 9 under through 17. Denny McCarthy finished the day tied for third at 7 under, along with Austin Eckroth. He's 7 under through 8 holes. And Nick Taylor is at -6 through 13. WTIC News time is 2:32. Let's check in with Bob. He's got the forecast.
Temperatures this afternoon getting into the low 80s with a mostly sunny sky and that west to northwest breeze at about 12 to 20 miles an hour with some gusts to 30 miles an hour or more at times. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows will be in the low to mid 60s. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow, highs in the mid 80s. Partly to mostly cloudy Saturday night. There is the chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Low 65 to 70. And partly sunny, hot, and more humid again Sunday with the chance for a shower or thunderstorm. The high near 90. Temperatures are going to soar Monday and Tuesday, getting well into the 90s, maybe flirting with 100 in a few spots, and the humidity will be high as well. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Checking traffic down in West Haven, southbound 95. We've got backups beginning at 46 down to 41. That's where we have the left and center lanes closed due to a 3-vehicle crash. In Norwalk, 95 northbound between exits 16 and 17, right lane is closed due to debris in the roadway. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700. Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Summer's coolest mattress deals are going on now at Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale. This summer, save up to $1,000 on select mattresses. And say goodbye to hot sleep and save up to $500 on the best-selling Tempur-Breeze collection. Plus, feel the freedom to snooze now and pay later with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Better sleep starts at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Act brought to you by ProHealth Physicians.
Yes, sir.
Medical needs can arise unexpectedly. That's why having a trusted primary care provider, or PCP, is so important. Hi, I'm Dr. Monique Martin, a family doctor at ProHealth Physicians in Vernon. For life-threatening conditions, always call 911 or go to the ER right away. But if it's not an emergency, call your doctor's office first. Sometimes it's hard to decide when to seek care. At ProHealth, you can book appointments online or call us anytime, any day. Even after hours, we have nurses here to help guide you. Each day, our PCPs set aside times for urgent visits, and our Express Care team offers in-person and virtual appointments for our patients with common illnesses and injuries. Get the care you need when you need it. Start with ProHealth today.
Connect with the trusted local doctor you just heard from ProHealth Physicians. Call 1-855-MD-411 to schedule your first visit with them today, or visit ProHealthMD.com to learn more about their care, expertise, and services.
Happy birthday to us. 100 years of serving Connecticut.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. We'll take a couple of your phone calls now. Don't forget, it's the airing of grievance Friday. So if you've got a grievance to air, along with your comment, you'll get an opportunity to do that as well. You know Friday's coming up, so if you got a grievance you want to share, you definitely can. I got another word inside the courthouse. We're still waiting. And they're working their best to make sure that they can get to me as soon as we know. So again, if you're just joining us, we're keeping a very close eye on the sentencing of Richard Barrington. He is the young man, 20 years old, who is now being sentenced for the death of Detective Bobby Garton in 2023. And we'll either be talking to Bobby Garton's brother, Will Garton, Sergeant James Ratowski, the president of the Hartford Police Union, or former Hartford police officer Jill Kiddick. So they're all on deck, waiting for their opportunity. As soon as we hear from them, they'll probably be ringing up the phones. Let's go to the phones now. 860-522-WTIC. Christine is in Middletown. How are you?
Hi, Reese. Well, good morning. I was there in the court and outside the court for most of the morning this morning.
So what was the presence, if anything, of Black Lives Matter 860? Was it a large group, small group?
I didn't see much of a group outside.
Okay.
It was inside when we were allowed in, and it was on the third floor of the courtroom, so I had to use the facility. I thought it was in the second room, so I missed some of the excitement with Ivelisse. Here's what I know. Because I saw my own. She got kicked out.
Right.
And she got with Kathleen Walsh, who runs Blue Lives Matter Connecticut.
So Kathleen Walsh, who's been a guest here, and Ivelisse of Black Lives Matter 860 also has been a guest here, and the two of these folks, 22 of these ladies, had a confrontation that led to Ivelisse being removed.
All I know that Ivelisse was asked to leave the courthouse.
Wow.
And Kathleen, when I got there and I was with her, and the people that were supporting, Bobby Garden and the family. And I said, she's from BLM 860. And I guess I mentioned her causing a ruckus at the Moms for Liberty Symposium in Avon a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And then why was she there? And that's when I posted a picture. I sent it to, on the X from Mark.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I have an alias, so it wasn't you.
I don't want to reveal the alias, but if the alias is a singer actress, isn't it?
Well, could be.
Yeah. Okay. No. It's one of my favorite singer actresses because when I saw it, I went, that can't be the right person. And now that you told me, good, I won't expose it. I won't tell. But okay, so that clears it up. I did see the picture.
But there's more. And so Kathleen goes to the marshal. And one of the marshals said, if she was kicked out, why is she back in? And the marshal wouldn't do anything. Wow. And then Italy got to go in with the people, for Richard, Barrington.
Yeah.
She got in to go inside the courtroom and sit. And when it was time for us to get in, there was not enough seats. So we're in a hallway in that little buffer between the courtroom and the lobby.
Right.
So we had to stand outside. So I'm going to I can't stand it. I'm not going to stand in the lobby all the time. But that's when I left, and that's when I emailed you. But she caused all the trouble, asked to leave, and comes back. I thought that was insane.
Yeah. I don't even get the purpose of them being there. This is not a good PR move for them at all. It just isn't. and it's injecting themselves. They're bringing horrible attention to themselves, but you know what? That's fine. I would rather them stomp all over any degree of reputation they have left in showing up at this thing. This doesn't have to be what they're trying to make it be. But if anybody else has some details about that, I'll ask. In fact, I'll talk to either three of these folks that are going to call in and ask what that turned out, if there was any other, I don't know, exercised displays by Evil East inside there. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Reese.
You got it. Let's go to my good friend, Matty-O. What's going on, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. How you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good, sir. What's up?
I forgot to call you yesterday and wish you happy Juneteenth, and I feel very bad about that.
No, please don't. I would have rather you didn't, and it's great that you've forgotten. But you know what you can do? You can call me up on Monday, because I have another anniversary coming up on Monday. It's my sobriety anniversary on Monday, 6 years.
We'll definitely call it for.
Yeah.
But I was thinking on Juneteenth, right? This will solve all race relations. I'm telling you right now. Right? So every white person that is friends with a black person gets them a gift on Juneteenth. Okay, that takes care of reparations. Okay, reparations done, and black people will be actively seeking white people for friends because they want more gifts.
You know what? That is so asinine. It's brilliant. You're 100% right. You are absolutely right. But don't forget now, you make, like, if you're going to give a gift on Juneteenth, to maintain this friendship with the person you're buying gifts for, the gifts are going to have to be significant. Now, I'm not saying you should buy them a Lexus, but
but at least the grill. Yeah, something good. Something good. Yeah. So what do you want for your Juneteenth gift? What do you want? Like a gift card to some restaurant in Connecticut?
What?
You finally get your butt up here?
A gift card would be fantastic. Yeah, why not? I'll take a gift card. I'm done with you. I love you. Thank you, man. I'm just done with you. Let's go to Mike in Plainville. Hello, Mike.
I'll tell you what, man. You and I have something in common.
What's that?
Monday's my anniversary, too.
Oh, congratulations. Hey, what's up? Why not?
13 years.
You got it. Okay.
And I'll tell you what it's like. It's like having the wind at your back all the time now.
It is. It is a perspective I never thought I'd have, man.
Crystal clear.
Yeah, it is. Exactly crystal clear.
Relationships are better. Everything's better. Food tastes better. I'll tell you what, it's for me, it was a small miracle. I'm a Catholic. I do believe in miracles, large and small, and I happen to be involved in at least one in my life, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, that's a fantastic feeling. My journey, very similar, but I think the miracle thing was I started to recognize little things as miracles as opposed to just great things that happened. I had to, sort of look at the world as a place where miracles happen, and then find also finding silver linings in sometimes things that were bad. I had to find the good in that.
Never realized. Now, here's the thing, okay? Picture me as the commissioner of the WNBA.
Okay.
I would have at least one day of teleconferences with the owners and the coaches, and I said, look, as of right now, this targeting is going to stop. Okay? And if it doesn't, the penalties are going to be severe. From your first, second, third, and fourth. Okay? You commit that many, maybe you're not worthy enough to play in the league. It's starting to get out of hand. They've got to do something right now or else.
Sean Payton, do you remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints was suspended, as were staffers, for what they called, what was that thing called, Roland? I know you remember it. It wasn't Hitgate. It was something.
Bounty scandal.
Bounty scandal. That's right. The bounty scandal.
Yeah.
That's
They're putting bounties out on opposing players.
Exactly. For bonuses. So I would implement that same rule, or at least a sort of idea of it, or some semblance of it. I would totally do that. And if it's independent, right? If coaches aren't responsible and this are independent players, I would say, unpaid suspensions of like a week.
Hey,
that's a hefty salary.
I got a question for you quickly. You were going to bring up more dirt in the Democrats from the previous administration.
I did it
you were going to do it
yesterday.
yesterday.
I did.
You did? I missed it.
That's okay, because in the headlines, it turns out that Donald Trump has responded to said scandal. I'll have that in the headlines coming up.
It can't be much worse than we know already.
It's everything we already knew. But this time it's not the Russians, it's China. So we got
All
that.
right. All right, thank you. Happy anniversary.
Thank you, man. You too. It's great to have somebody with the anniversary. I wanted to say that. I was going to talk about it a little bit, but I got a minute. I can say it. June is, Roland, weird enough, turned out to be my favorite month of any time of the year, because June, aside from the fact that it was the month that I got sober, being the 23rd, but it was also the month that Roseanne and I started dating, June 15th. When I started my moving company, Keep It Moving, that was on June 8th. And my official date here is June 30th.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, you love Juneteenth and Pride Month.
Oh, shut up. That's right. Yes, I can't forget about those two things. But no, can you believe that? All of that's June. I meet my wife. We start dating in June. All of that. My entire life changed. Always have been started a business out of nowhere in June.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's why, right? All of some of the most amazing stuff has happened to me in that month. So.
Yeah, my family's month is August.
Really?
Yeah, my grandmother, on my mom's side, my grandmother and grandfather, they were married in August. They got a bunch of kids. They had 12 kids. They were all
born in August.
6 of them were born in August. And their last name is Augustine. So
maybe they just get frisky in November.
Must be. they had it planned, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. All right, we'll take another break. We'll be back. More news, more views, and any updates on the Richard Barrington sentencing when we return. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Attention Southern New England HVAC and mechanical contractors. Eagle Rivet is your trusted roofing partner for professional roof penetrations and flashing. We ensure your customers' roofs remain watertight during installations, protecting their warranties. We also offer complimentary roof inspections to identify potential issues before any HVAC work begins. Call Eagle Rivet today at 860-953-1231 or visit us online at eaglerivet.com. That's EAGLERIVET.com. Eagle Rivet is proud to support Rebuilding Together Hartford.
Low testosterone affects many men today, even men as young as 30. But finding someone you can trust for quality low T treatment isn't so easy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice. And that's why I'm pleased to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health right here in Warwick. As a Promedic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health has the experience and expertise to get you the right treatment for your particular medical situation. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone. In fact, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing impacts low T treatments have. If you're like most men, you'll sleep better, have more energy and improve mental clarity, get better gains in the gym, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Hey, it's Matt.
1 minute.
Trusted Pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like
I
foundation
like the
damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands
what
of
do you
dollars
call it?
to
The
fix.
the quick
Let's
bio
face it,
they put
cleaning
on the
gutters yourself is
podcast.
not only a hassle.
Oh yeah,
I liked it.
but
It's
when
good.
Yeah, I didn't do that part.
No,
Though,
no,
I think.
to worry about cleaning
Janine
clogged
did that.
gutters,
Yeah, Janine did that.
get started today by
Provocative
visiting
and outspoken commentary.
leafilter.com/deal.
She even used my
If you
favorite
decide to
word,
move forward,
muckraker.
we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Still no updates. I'm paying attention, and I'm not getting anything so far on this story, but we've got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into today. Definitely coming up. In fact, let me go to these. Donald Trump has responded to the story I reported yesterday on the Chinese whistleblower who sent video of fake ballots that were coming into the United States. He's responded to that, so we'll have that. Another story I've got to talk about this. This one was out of the New Haven Register. And this story says 5 Connecticut schools are out of compliance with state school desegregation law. More at risk. And the problem with these are, just to give you a breakdown of how crazy this story is, the problem is that they have too many minorities in these 5 schools. Upwards of 46 to 65% minorities at the school, and that therefore saying that the schools are not in compliance. I guess in some weird way they're saying there are not enough white kids in the schools, but, you know, that could be for a host of reasons. So we'll talk about that in the story. Andrew gave us a story that I want to talk about a little bit. Still no information on it. Plus, I don't think that there's any immediate interest in getting to the bottom of it, but it's the story of Stacy, the 8-year-old boy, Stacy Glasgow, who was shot and killed in his home. And I'm hoping, maybe Andrew, if you're listening, call me back. If I'm getting this story right, one of the published reports say, now think about this, a gun was found in the backyard of where little Stacy was killed. But if this story is right, as I read it, the boy was on a 3rd floor apartment when he was shot. No one seems to know when or where the boy was shot, if it was outside the home or inside the home. And at least all news reports seem to be scarce, but there has been no reporting on this since March 20th. And still no details yet. I looked around, I'm not finding anything. We're already in June and still do not have any answers on how this 8-year-old died from a gunshot wound. Unless somebody else has seen a report that I may have missed, let me know. We'll get into that as well. Also coming up, will you be the Between Rounds winner today of a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe? Well, we will let you know in the 4 o'clock hour. At the top of the hour, we will be announcing the winner there. If you'd like to participate, go now to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. And fill out the form. Must live in Connecticut and may not have won within the last 30 days in order to participate. And we'll read the winner when we get to the 4 o'clock hour. Also, don't forget, we got Roseanne on the radio, my better half coming on. We're going to talk about a story where people are upset. And this is a wild story. People are angry about a woman who was kept alive while pregnant so that she could deliver her baby to term. It's a very, very interesting story in the whole pro-life, pro-choice, pro-abortion argument. A woman by the name of Adriana Smith. And the usual suspects are upset, but it doesn't mean so. This woman is dying, and they keep her alive because she's pregnant. And they keep her alive long enough to give birth to the baby that is now alive, so that the woman could then, I guess, be taken off life support. But we'll talk about that. I want to talk about it with Roseanne, because you may remember in our origin story, Roseanne and I, one of the biggest and best arguments where we knew we liked each other or we were interested in one another was a debate that we had coming out of the mall, yelling at each other about abortion rights in the country. And she was arguing with me. She's pro-life. She's pro-choice. I'm pro-life. And we were arguing with one another, but we had like the biggest smiles on our face. And this was an argument that actually attracted each other to it. Kind of sadistic, I get it. But that's what happened. So this story, I want to get her take on it as somebody with that in that position. So we'll get into that as well. Plus your phone calls. If you want to air a grievance, give us a call at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. How could I forget this? Did you guys see the commercial that Democrats are running about immigration? If you haven't seen, I got to play it for you. It's the most insane thing ever, primarily because of the last line in the commercial. If you haven't seen it, you have got to stick around for this. It's insane. I got to play it for you coming up. Maybe we'll do that. You know what? We'll do that during headlines when we come back, okay? Stick around. Again, more news, more views. We've got news coming up with John Silva. Then we got weather coming up with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's at the BPS Traffic Center. John Silva actually covers all of that in the next hour, so stay tuned for him so you can find out what the roads are like as well. There's a lot of inclement weather that's happening in the area, but we'll be back. All right, John Silva's coming at you with news right now. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
3 o'clock, Hartford temperature 82 degrees. Good afternoon. Sunny, breezy out there today, but it's less humid. We'll have the forecast details coming up, and battling through that stiff, swirling wind, Denny McCarthy and Justin Thomas shot the rounds of the day so far at the Travelers Championship at the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell. This leaderboard update being sponsored by the law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest, and Scott. Finishing at 6 under 64, McCarthy says he was facing wind gusts of 25 to 30 miles an hour.
It's not that easy right now. It wasn't that easy yesterday afternoon either. Seems like our wave kind of got the bulk of the wind. I hope it kind of stays like this for everyone because it was kind of nasty out there at times.
Things were tough even on world number one Scotty Scheffler, who wound up in the water on 17 for a double bogey. He finished, he's still out there in the 17th at 9 under. 3 are tied at 7 under. And as we scroll down the leaderboard here, we find Cameron Young at 6 under through 7. Jason Day, 4 under through 11. Keegan Bradley, who won this thing a couple of years back, 4 under through 5 holes. And Rory McIlroy, this year's Masters champion, is at 3 under through 5. Man who struck a Hartford police cruiser 2 years ago, killing one officer and leaving another seriously injured, is learning his fate in court today. Richard Barrington was 18 at the time of the crash in September of 2023. He'd fled a traffic stop, ran a couple of red lights, and struck the cruiser that Detective Bobby Garton and his partner Brian Carney were in. They were en route to another call. Prosecution has recommended a 20-year sentence on the manslaughter and interfering charges. The Garton family, though, has said it would like to see a longer sentence in this case, and we are still awaiting word of the sentencing in Hartford Superior Court. Supreme Court has revived lawsuits against Palestinians from Americans killed or wounded in terror attacks.
The Supreme Court deciding to allow victims of terrorist attacks to actually sue the Palestinian authorities, even though those individuals are generally outside the United States but have activity within the United States. And the court said that the statute that allows that meets due process standards, and this will make it easier for victims of such attacks to bring these lawsuits.
That's legal analyst Lori Levinson. In North Branford, police say a crash earlier today is now a fatal. It was around 10. They got 911, multiple 911 calls, reporting that crash in front of 999 Foxon Road, Route 80. Police say the driver of one of the vehicles sustained serious injuries. That person was rushed to Yale, New Haven, where they were pronounced dead. Driver of the second vehicle sustained minor injuries, police said. Foxon Road closed between Twin Lakes and Cedar Lake roads for the investigation, which remains ongoing. Local and state police have been at the scene of what's being described as a suspicious death in the town of Granby. Officers were called to the home on Hartford Avenue Thursday night. State Police Major Crimes is involved in that investigation. A few other details have been released at this point. Iran's foreign minister says there's no room for talking so long as Israel continues its bombing campaign.
We were attacked in the midst of an ongoing diplomatic process. We were supposed to meet with Americans on 15 June to craft a very promising agreement for peaceful resolution of the issues fabricated over our peaceful nuclear program. It was a betrayal of diplomacy.
Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Geneva meeting with European diplomats. Extreme and in some cases dangerous heat expected to envelop the area over the weekend. That has health experts advising on how to look out for signs of illness due to the hot weather. Dr. Amanda Staton is an ER physician in Columbia, South Carolina.
Signs and symptoms of heat stroke are confusion or altered mental status. Sometimes people can be unconscious. A lot of times they stop sweating. Heat stroke is an emergency, so it's important if you notice somebody with these symptoms to call 911.
And 100 million Americans are under heat alerts, and that number will increase significantly over the weekend and into early next week. WTIC News Time is 3:05 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. It has been windy out there this afternoon, so you're going to want to keep both hands on the steering wheel. We're looking at the delays beginning to build out of the Hartford area on the eastbound side of 84. Looks like the delay starts at 44, Kane Street up to 51. Westbound out of East Hartford, we've got about 2 miles worth of delays between exits 56 and 46. Delays Danbury eastbound 84, backups between exits 2 and 7. Back in the Hartford area, Windsor slowdowns. Southbound 91 into the city between exits 35A and 32. Short line looks like our busiest traffic right now on the 95 corridor. Appears to begin in Westport, the Sherwood Island connector there at 18. That'll take you right up to 23 in Fairfield. Let's check in with Bob Cox. He has the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
It will remain mostly sunny, breezy, and comfortable out there this afternoon with high temperatures between 80 and 85. Dew points down in the 50s and a west to northwest wind at 12 to 20 miles an hour, some gusts to 30 or more. Tonight's partly cloudy, lows in the low to mid 60s. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds on Saturday with highs reaching the mid 80s. Partly to mostly cloudy Saturday night. Can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm, low 65 to 70. Sunday looks partly sunny, hot, and more humid again. There's the chance for a shower or thunderstorm, the high near 90. Monday and Tuesday are sunny, hot, and humid. Highs between 95 and 100 degrees both days. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Looks like a light trading day on Wall Street with the markets down. The Dow off 23, NASDAQ's down 115, and the S&P's down 18 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, Certified Financial Planner from Money Wisdom. Learn ways to prevent avoidable surprises from derailing your retirement and discover smart financial strategies for your future. Listen every week on Money Wisdom, Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Never liked braces? Invisalign is an alternative that may be right for you. It's removable, more comfortable, and reduces the risk of developing cavities and gum disease. Get your dream smile discreetly and easily. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111.
Is your old AC system buzzing its last breath? Install a new energy-efficient system with Call the Bee, and we'll buy your old AC unit up to $1,500 and put it to good use to train the next generation of local HVAC pros. Enjoy lower energy bills, quieter performance, and comfort all summer long. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.com to schedule a free estimate. Call the Bee, Connecticut's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. We'll be there, and we'll be fair.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck. Come on a minute. Timeshare cancellation guy.
Okay.
In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your Share Exit Kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah, it's the airing of grievance on this Friday on WTIC News Talk 1080. Let's get to some headlines. Ilhan Omar is in the headline. She ended up deleting a Juneteenth post after she was called out for present-day slavery in Somalia. She wrote, quote, 160 years ago on June 19th, 1865, slavery ended in this country. Today, we celebrate Black freedom, resilience, and achievement and continue to work to root out systematic racism from our policies and institutions. Omar immediately deleted the post after a response from a guy named Gunther Eagleman. You may remember him. He wrote, quote, Somalia still has slaves. Ilhan should go fight to free her own people. So Ilhan Omar has been silent ever since. Nothing comes to mind. Do you remember that? That was the line that failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris delivered on The View when she was asked by Sunny Houston, Houston, is there anything that she would have done differently than her boss in the Biden administration? Well, now Sunny Houston, Houston is suggesting that that viral moment may have been the end to Kamala Harris's bid to become president of the United States. Apparently, she was on our podcast that airs after The View, and she says that she believes that viral moment may have been her undoing. She felt as though it was responsible for her to ask the question, but she still takes responsibility. Typical. President Trump is now chiming in on a story from yesterday about evidence that the Chinese government was involved in the 2020 election. He wrote on Truth Social today, quote, 0 border crossings for the month for Trump versus the 60,000 for Sleepy crooked Joe Biden, he says, a man who lost the 2020 presidential election by a landslide. He said that Biden grossly incompetent and the 2020 election was a total fraud. The evidence is massive and overwhelming, responding to a report that Chuck Grassley received from the FBI director, Kash Patel. I haven't heard a story like this since the days of Tony Randall. Those of you who are old enough will remember. Tony Randall was one of the few that in his 70s sired a child. Well, we can now add Frazier's Kelsey Grammer to that list of people. He's reportedly going to become a father for the 8th time at the age of 70. It turns out that the wife that he is with, what's her name? Walsh? I can't remember his wife's name. Oh, Kate Walsh. That's her name. She has a weird spelling of her name. She's 46 years old, and she shares 3 children with Kelsey Grammer, again, out of the 8. I don't know anybody else who has children over 70. My wife doesn't want me to have any kids at 55. Says I'm too old. He'll be 90 by the time that kid, is on his last year of college. Should he live that long, and we wish him a long life. You also may have heard.
Yeah, he's rich, though.
Yeah, he's rich, right? So he might be able to.
He has a lot of help.
Yes. You may have heard that foreign ministers are now negotiating in Europe to end the war in Iran, or at least to come to the negotiation table. Well, Iran says that they will not negotiate over its nuclear program if Israel continues to hammer the Islamic Republic, according to Reuters today. Foreign ministers have so far confirmed that. They are saying that now as they're meeting with European leaders as well as American leaders on trying to get this resolved. So they're asking Israel, knock it off, stop bombing us, and then we'll come to the negotiation table. I don't know whether or not that's going to happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see. We'll still keep an eye, of course, out on the sentencing and seeing if anything is happening. There has been, from what I see here, and this is real, on WTNH.com, they have a TV camera that is set up inside the courtroom. It may be like a CCTV deal. Right now, it's sort of, what is that, a rainbow thing that they put on the screen before they go live. So we're still waiting. I guess the only portion, because there have been proceedings going on in the courtroom. Lawyers have been speaking on Richard Barrington's behalf, as well as the prosecutor who is speaking on Bobby Garton's behalf. And that has led to recesses between them as they go back and forth. This is very long and drawn out. I don't know if that means I've never understood how this goes on, but I don't know if the judge is taking those things into consideration. Is that the reason for the recess? Is there something else going on? Or is it possible, that's quite possible, that the judge could have other cases that he has to preside over? So the intermissions are because he's going to those hearings. I couldn't imagine that was the only thing on his docket today, if I'm to understand the whole judge stuff. Also in the news, I don't know if you heard about this, union protesters vandalized the Yankee Institute billboard outside the governor's mansion. They said during a union-organized rally last night outside the governor's mansion to pressure Governor Lamont to sign the SB 8, a digital billboard truck operated by the Yankee Institute was vandalized. The vehicle displaying messages critical of a controversial labor-backed bill that would give striking workers unemployment benefits was struck with rocks. Witnesses reported rally-goers attempting to pry the screen off the truck. Now the vendor who owns the truck is reconsidering doing business in Connecticut. They say, quote, "There is no place for intimidation, violence, or silencing of our political discourse." This is the president of the Yankee Institute, Carol Platt LeBeau. We call on elected officials in our state to join us in telling union leaders and lawmakers, especially those who attended the protest, to reject this conduct loudly and forcefully. I got to tell you, fat chance. That's who these people are. Violence, intimidation, destruction. That's what this is. It's not about civil discourse. Again, it's like I said earlier about BLM 860. When you are desperate and you have no, argument, debate, answers for the questions being asked of you, you resort to violence because you're ashamed. Anger it's low-hanging fruit. Anybody can fall into that trap. But when you are cornered and there's no way out, you have no reasonable argument for where you stand, you always resort to violence. That's just right. And you've seen the videos on X and other social media. You've even seen it on the news where people lose their collective minds. And it's always because they don't have an answer. Ask them a legitimate question, a fair question, and they'll start screaming in your face, spitting at you. That's what these people do. They don't want to, and I've said this before, so if I'm repeating it, I apologize, but bear with me. You have to understand what the psyche is of someone who behaves like this. It's the violence and the screaming and the hollering and the cursing and spitting, all of that stuff. I don't have a reasonable answer for you, but you must adhere to me. Because I'm right, because I say so. I'm morally superior. I'm morally right. I have the moral high ground. You must adhere. And their excuse for spitting on you or cursing at you or lunging at you or physically assaulting you, you are inherently evil because you don't agree. Like, what is wrong with you? You can't see it my way. Clearly, there's something wrong with you. And that means that because there's something wrong with you, you must be pummeled with my fist. You can justify, you remember when they used to scream that, punch a Nazi, Hey, why'd you punch that man? You're not supposed to physically assault him, but he's a Nazi. We can punch a Nazi, right? But he has human rights. No, he can't. He's a Nazi. But he says he's not a Nazi. It doesn't matter. I think he's a Nazi. Why is he a Nazi? Well, he doesn't agree. He doesn't see it my way. Hey, I voted for Donald Trump. You're a racist. But I'm black. Blacks can be racist. That's who they are. That's how they operate. That's their reason. And of course, you can say whatever you want about these folks, and they're never going to heal. It's just again, they're morally superior. They know that what they speak of is the truth. Pushing back, what for? Nobody cares. They don't care. White Mike says that reports of a 4.3 earthquake in Iran. He says either Trump dropped a bunker buster or the deep state is acting independently, or it's an actual earthquake. We're going to take the Arkham Razor approach on this one. That is probably the simplest answer in all of this. We'll just say it was an earthquake. And try to stay away from the conspiracy theories, of course, until we find out otherwise. But let's just call it what it is right now, an earthquake. By the way, before I go to the phones, be sure to go to WTIC.com. I want to say this, and I'll grab, never mind, they're gone. I want to say this, and let me thank Roland and Janine and everybody who's responsible at WTIC.com. So if you go to WTIC.com, you'll see, if you go to shows and podcasts, you will see that Reese on the Radio has been added, right? So podcasts, at least. You'll see Reese on the Radio has been added on there. And I'm very, very proud that I am. I am going to say something. Please don't accuse me of being corny. I promise you I'm not trying to be corny for the sake of being corny. This is genuinely how I feel. A lot of people say I'm arrogant. And they're partially right. I'm sure everybody's a little bit arrogant, but I'm considerably arrogant. I will say that. But I'll tell you something I rarely share. I am always seeking to be worthy. Now, what do I mean? You've heard me say, I'm not trying to be a part of anybody's club. I'm not. I mean that. There is no contradiction here. But when I say worthy, it's because what I do here, I believe in order for me to have this role here, I must be worthy of your attention. You listening to this show, right? Giving you something entertaining to think about, to laugh about, to consider, to call, to yuck with me. And so I'm always looking to be worthy of the kind comments you leave and the emails and text messages you guys send me. Always looking to be worthy of the accolades you give me. So when I see something like this that WTIC does for me and puts up such effort in, I always say to myself, am I worthy? I don't take that for granted. So it is humbling, and it makes me very proud to be a part of this network, be a part of Connecticut, and to be a part of your lives. So trust me when I tell you, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. So, again, I want to thank the folks at WTIC, Odyssey, Stephanie, Steve, Janine, Joey, and my Emmy Award-winning producer, Roland, who makes me look so damn good. And, of course, all of you. I'm not going to take that call yet. Courtney Ann wants to go at it with me. Should I give her a shot? I feel like I should. She's still very livid about yesterday's conversation related to Juneteenth, but maybe I will. She's very livid about that. She says, Reese, you're such an amazing guy. You are more than worthy. You deserve every bit of it. Thank you, Courtney. I do appreciate that. And Donald says, Reese, you're not a racist. You've just lost your mind. I know that's what people believe about me, but that's okay. It's like, at least people engage. That's what it is. But I know this is the part. I'll tell you this. This is very, very true. And I'm saying this to the people who often go back and forth at me, online or even on the show. Please know this. I am not bragging when I say this, and I am not trying to, as we say, punk you in any way. I know when I have you cornered. I'm well aware when you're cornered. When you are lost, when you are caught in your own contradiction, when you are talking in a circular way or using doublespeak, I am patiently waiting for the kill shot. And here's why. And this is to help you in your debate with me. One, know I'm always looking for the opening. You're going to give it to me. If you're on the left, if you are progressive, if you disagree with me, I know you're going to expose yourself. You're going to expose your hypocrisy, your racism, your bigotry. You're going to expose it because you can't, because you're emotional. I am not. I'm not an emotional person. I'm very calculated in my debates. Because I understand your emotion and because I know that you wear your heart on your sleeve, I am going to expose you. That's the best advice I can give you in your debates. Because remember, when you stand for something, it can't be out of emotion. It must be calculated. In other words, there can be no flaws. One thing has to represent the other. And it must have a free flow of ideals. One can't contradict each other. And if it does, it's irrational. That's how that works. So I don't mind if you want to go toe-to-toe with me, but I'm watching you. I don't think, see, that's what Donald says in the chat room, because you think you're always right. Let me stop you there, Donald. I know. Belief is for people who lack knowledge. I'll say it again. It's a Reeseism. Belief is for people who lack knowledge. Because if you don't know, you'll believe anything. I'll say it again. Get used to it. Belief is for people who lack knowledge. Because if you don't know, you'll believe anything. So when I come at you, if I don't know, I will tell you I don't know. If you want me to know if you want to know what I believe, I will preface, this is what I believe. But I never go into an argument without talking about things that I know. For certain. And that's the reason why I always win. And it's easy to do. It's easy. Because I don't play the games of hypotheticals. I don't play the games of what if. What if this happened? What if that? Anything could happen. Somebody tells me, well, what if this happened? Well, what if a rainbow shot out my butt? Anything could happen. We could just come up with any scenario in the world, can we? And make that a thing. Again, I don't think I'm always right. I know when I'm right. We can take a break here?
You have to.
Yeah, that's right. We have to take a break here. All right, when we come back, why not? We'll give Courtney a shot when we return. Stick around. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
I'm going to be in the building Friday.
Tune in to How to Retire with Fuchs Financial.
The main thing for the majority of the listeners out there who are approaching retirement is I don't want to be surprised.
Helping you build, preserve, and manage your wealth.
So you've got Roth IRAs, you have individual accounts. And finding the right taxable strategy, that's going to be huge for you.
Tune in to How to Retire with Ben Fuchs, Sundays at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Do you know what went down at the Viper Room the night River Phoenix died? Are you aware of how Steve McQueen escaped death at the hands of the Manson family? But what about the real-life brutal murder that inspired David Lynch's Twin Peaks? These stories and more are told in the Hollywoodland podcast, where true crime and Tinseltown collide. Follow and listen to Hollywoodland wherever you get your podcasts.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30, Hartford temperature 82 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. It is day 2 of play at the Travelers Championship at the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell. This leaderboard update being sponsored by the law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest, and Scott. And we find, heading the situation here at the second round play, we find 9 under is Justin Thomas. He just finished his second round, shooting a 67. Scotty Scheffler found water in one hole, also bogeyed as well. He finishes the day at 9 under, shooting a 69 for the second round. Elsewhere, rounding up the top 5, we've got a tie for third between Denny McCarthy and Nick Taylor, both at 7 under. McCarthy is done for the day. He finished 7 under 64 for the second round. Taylor still out on the course at 7 under as well. Austin Eckroat, who finished Thursday at the top of the leaderboard, is still out on the course. He is at 6 under through 12. Man who pled guilty to manslaughter and other charges in the death of a Hartford police detective is awaiting his fate in Hartford Superior Court today. A crash left Bobby Garton dead and Officer Brian Carney seriously injured. Richard Barrington was 18 at the time of that crash in September of 2023. He, earlier this year, pled guilty to manslaughter and interfering charges. Suspicious death investigation underway in Granby. Not much in the way of details still. Police first called Thursday night to the home on Hartford Avenue. State Police Major Crimes is also assisting in that case. One person dead, another in the hospital following a serious crash today in North Branford. This happened on Route 80, Foxen Road, near the Twin Lakes Commons Complex. No word yet on a cause. Israel and Iran struck at one another again a week into their war as President Trump weighs U.S. involvement and new diplomatic efforts taking place in Geneva. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Let's check in with the WTIC Weather Center for a look at the forecast.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, mostly sunny, windy, not as hot. We'll have a thunderstorm in spots, the high of 84.
Clear and mild tonight with the low down to 63. On Saturday, partly sunny. The heat beginning to build again. Very warm. The high up to 88. Saturday night, watch for a thunderstorm late that could produce some flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts. Otherwise, the low only down to 70. Sunday, the heat really kicks in, breaking the record from 1921 with a hot and humid, mostly sunny day. The high up to 96. Then on Monday, partly sunny, record-breaking temperatures. It'll be hot and humid, one of the hottest days of the year so far. Make sure you stay well hydrated. The high of 98 on Monday. Then Tuesday, mostly sunny, record-breaking temperatures again for hot and humid weather with a thunderstorm in the afternoon, a high of 99. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
82 right now in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Being injured in an accident can leave you feeling vulnerable and lost. You need a fast and fair resolution and a law firm that can protect you. At Brown, Painteris & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and will treat you with respect and dignity. If you've been injured, BPS lawyers are here to help. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner from Money Wisdom. Learn ways to prevent avoidable surprises from derailing your retirement and discover smart financial strategies for your future. Listen every week on Money Wisdom, Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At QC Kinetics, we're all about keeping you in the game, helping you get lasting relief from joint pain. That's why we're excited to announce that QC Kinetics is now partnering with the National Pickleball League. So many of our satisfied patients are avid pickleball players, and they're thrilled with how we've helped them get back on the court. As lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League, we're committed to help pickleball fans of all ages with the latest, most advanced regenerative cell treatments. These treatments use your body's own healing power, revitalizing and restoring damaged joint tissue the natural way, with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Whether you're a pickleball fanatic or enjoy golf or running or tennis, stay in the game with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, proud to promote active, pain-free living as a lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
pain. $5,000. That's the average people in the U.S. are now
Yes, sir.
spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
All right, we're back. WTIC News Talk 1080. And look, as much as I know I'm walking into a buzzsaw with this, I'm going to try it anyway. By the way, I did hear from Sergeant Rutkowski. I was asking him about whether or not there was a beef that it took place inside the courthouse. He didn't see anything like that. He did suggest that there was a lady who was recording in the courthouse and taking pictures in the courtroom, and the marshals asked that individual to leave. That isn't to say that was Evilise of Black Lives Matter 860, but that's what he says happened inside the courtroom that he witnessed. So we'll get some more details from that when we do get a phone call from them. Also, for those of you just stand by, just to let you know, oh, wait a minute, looks like something's happening. We finally have a live feed at WTNH. So no one's come out. This is outside the courthouse. By the way, if anybody else has any details, just get on the phones quickly and just let me know, or let me know inside the chat room if you've heard anything. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about Juneteenth, and White Mike, who is a provocateur, and as I like to call him, an anthropologist of African-American history, or at least pop culture today, came up and said some things talking about how the culture has been damaging to the African-American community, saying to pretty much wash their hands of it, saying the black community, get your kids to be as white as possible, have them listen to pop music from the 80s and 90s, and stay away from the culture, the hip-hop culture today, because it's detrimental to them. Well, some people took some issues with that, and one in particular is a regular guest here on the show, Courtney Ann from Courtney's Courtroom on WTIC. Hello, Courtney. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. So you took a lot of issues yesterday in the chat room with what White Mike had to say. So without going off on a tangent, just give me what your issue is.
That's what I was going to say. First, I don't have any issues with what White Mike said, because I mean, his opinion is his opinion. I can understand even where he's coming from. I don't agree with it, but I can understand how he might have gotten there. So I didn't come here to shame or down anyone. I just came to offer another perspective, and then you guys can take it or leave it. So White Mike started off with talking about the IQ test, and he then broke it down and said, well, really, the IQ test is about patterns. So he said that's saying that basically black folks' patterns is janky, to sum it up. So I wanted to first touch on that. I can understand it, though. So I wanted to touch on that, though, when we're talking about patterns. First, I was going to ask him, are you born with a pattern? Is it in your blood, or is it something that's learned?
I don't think
we
that.
can all agree that it's.
Let me just to sort of give it a context to what White Mike was talking about. What he's saying here is that if you're following the pattern culturally in the United States with African Americans, that's what he's saying. As far as he used the IQ test as being determined based upon knowing what one pattern and the second pattern and the third and the fourth pattern. That's how IQ tests are formed. He's not suggesting that African Americans can't pass an IQ test. He was using that as a template for his statement. And that is, if you follow this.
Definitely.
No, he wasn't.
He definitely He definitely said, his exact words were, black people are the lowest of the people out of every
That was a
single race.
separate comment. He's saying that throughout history, right? Throughout history, where have we seen the culture go? We're following a pattern.
Okay.
It is usually, and you can agree with this, and I know you have privately, that the state of our young people in the African-American community is far worse than we even saw that in the 80s and 90s. Sure, we had our rabble-rousers and we had the wiling days of the 1980s and early 90s. We had the gangster rap culture of the mid-90s to the 2000s. But we've never seen anything like this. This is really bad. Yes?
Okay, right. So, I mean, yes, it is. But let me finish on let me just finish up on the patterns part. So I wanted to say to White Mike, patterns are something that your brain, it's like your brain's love language. It's like your brain's way of creating a way of you to cope with the world, to understand the world in your own way, to be as peaceful as possible for you, right? It's definitely a learned thing. So I wanted to say to him, he's referring to like black people as having bad patterns, but I feel like he's not giving, giving acknowledgement to the fact that these patterns are patterns of survival, trauma, systematic neglect, forced adaptation. Like we all have seen the wild, what is that, on the animals where they're in the wild, and you see what survival looks like. It's ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like it is. And so even no matter what you want, I believe even the poverty is not subject to just black people. It just happens to be more minorities there. But poverty, those patterns that poverty creates are kind of being like shunned as if anybody has a choice to have a different pattern. You have to learn survival patterns in that environment. But moving on from that, I also feel like we're not giving any credit to this. So we all know black people, the slavery thing was messed up. We all can agree on that, right?
Okay.
I feel like there's never been a time. Okay, so black people were first ripped from Africa. The few that made it here. Okay.
Sold in Africa.
Well, I'm saying whether they were sold, I'm saying they were ripped from the people.
Sold. Context matters, Courtney.
Yeah.
Context matters.
It doesn't matter when you're the person being
No. They weren't sold sold by white folks. They were sold by Africans. Africans sold by Africans, and that matters.
It does matter. It doesn't matter for what I'm saying, though. But I do agree. Who else would have sold them? So when slaves were brought into America, the treatment that they received was horrible. They were stripped of their everything. They weren't even allowed to get education. They were denied everything, right? So fast forward to when they were freed, there has never been a time in history of America that anybody took the time to go fix what was done. Nobody, when in the history of, hold on, let me finish, Reese. First off, let me finish. When in the history of America has anybody went to black people and said, hey, this is how you act? Because after they were freed, they had a whole new set of problems. They had to deal with the Jim Crow. They had to deal with so many different things. And then, hold on, let me say this, though. And even through all of that, they persevered, and they actually came out on top. There was a period of time where it was beautiful to be black in America. It was a beautiful thing. There was love going around. The community was thriving. Guess what happened to every community? Every community back then that was thriving and it was all black got destroyed. And some of them got massacred. Multiple communities. Some of them got taken out by eminent domain. It's not here to say, oh, hold on, wait, I'm almost done. It's not here to say, woe is me, because you're already ready to defend it. I'm not here to argue with you.
I'm not here trying to defend.
Offer a different...
No,
I'm
Courtney.
just here to offer another different perspective. Hold on, wait. So
you're giving me a lot to cover, Courtney. With all due respect, Courtney, you're giving me a lot to cover, and I have to do that as succinctly as I possibly can because you're everywhere, and there are so many things that I need to address. But you're talking about like so much that I'm never going to be able to do that, and people are going to lose their place because it's on the radio. It's a little different than that. So that's why I got to stop you. So hear me out. Let me start by saying this. One, okay? You can't start a debate by suggesting who taught black people. That's nonsense. There are elements.
Wait,
No.
what do you mean?
Let me finish. There are elements of success all around us. In fact, even in black communities. Okay? There are elements of success all around us. Every day has always been, since the days of Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois, Dr. Charles Drew, Ida B. Wells, Madam C.J. Animals. This is another thing that people keep talking about black people in a very disparaging way. I cannot go for. We are not animals that need to be.
Go for
let
it.
me finish. Let me finish. You cannot treat us.
You didn't let me finish. Though.
Well, I did. I actually let you go on for a while. You cannot turn around and tell me that we are animals who need to be trained in a zoo. We're not.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
That.
You said no people have taught us, but we had examples of
Reese,
this all
you're
around.
not being realistic. People, you're taught when you Reese, Mr. Reese on the radio. Who you are today was through teachings among whoever it is you got your teachings from. We all were taught. Our parents. Some of us were lucky enough to have parents, great parents who raised us. I'm one of those. I had a great mother who instilled a lot of great things in me, so I'm blessed. And some of us had to maybe learn from others or self-taught, but we all had to learn to become who we are today.
And who is to teach us?
We weren't just born like this. Exactly my point. So who was to teach us? So who was your teacher? It just depends on who your teacher was, right?
I had plenty of teachers.
I mean, right, me as well. And that's why we came out different, though, right? We came out a little bit different than what you would call the majority of how the majority of black people walk. They walk with the crowd, and we don't walk with the crowd. I would say.
Oh,
so
I think you just explained something to me.
And there are definitely many people that are lucky enough to be taught by a different kind of teaching, because we all can see from what you look at even White Mike. White Mike is white, and if he can see it, and if I can see it, if you can see it, there is a mentality that is passed down from generation to generation to generation amongst the black community.
So
now,
okay,
it's
wait.
about,
Now I got to stop you.
Okay.
I got to stop you here. So
Okay.
what you're telling me is that black people's teaching throughout history is mutually substitutable.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, mutually substitutable.
I don't know what mutually substitutable means.
Okay, you don't see black people as individuals. You see them as a collective, yes?
Well, what do you mean? I see everybody as individuals.
No. See, that's the problem.
I'm not sure what
Well,
you're
that's
kind
why
of
I'm going to
taking out of
explain it.
context.
I'll explain it when we get back. Well, we do have to take a break and right now. So we'll take a break. I'll explain what that means. And that's what I say. We'll never, ever have enough time. You always got to call earlier. But that's okay. We'll figure this out.
I called earlier.
No. When I say earlier, the show starts at 2. The show starts at 2. I got much more time. That's okay.
It's 1 o'clock.
Your time. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and more Courtney when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Actual price depends on product and plan purchase. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss medications, but too few can access or afford them. Hers is changing that by offering access to Wegovy GLP-1 treatment through their platform. 50% off retail price. Wegovy is FDA approved for weight loss and can help you lose up to 20% of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. All dosages of Wegovy are offered at the same price and are eligible for FSA and HSA reimbursement. At forhers.com/radio, treatments are prescribed 100% online. A medical provider on their platform will determine if a weight loss plan is right for you, and if prescribed, your plan ships free directly to your door. By getting access to Wegovy through Hers, you get so much more than just medication. You'll get ongoing support along your weight loss journey. See if Wegovy is right for you at forhers.com/radio. That's forhers.com/radio. FORHERS.com/radio.
At University Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
All right, we'll get back to Courtney real quick because, again, this is one of those discussions that you have to have for like 2 hours in order to do this. Courtney, what I meant by mutually substitutable, right, is that there is a collective thinking within the African-American community, and that I understand. You and I both get that, bottom line, that a collective thinking is that this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem, and they all collectively feel that way. Even though our experiences are different in the Black community, meaning that how we grow up, what we grow up with, the influences, the things that get us inspired or get us outraged or causes us to make decisions in our lives. We are all individually challenged in our own way. What you are conflating here is a collective a collective mindset versus a collective outcome. There is none. There's no such thing as a collective outcome. I know there isn't. I'm explaining to you what the mindset is. The collective outcome is what people describe. They don't know that they're describing it, but that's what you're doing. You're doing what's called a collective a collective outcome. You're saying Black people experience this. That's the collective outcome. That's never been the case. Each Black person has what's sort of a collective thought, like, what's called a stereotype. It was like, oh, the white man is racist. Oh, this country was born on systemic racism.
Now you're talking about all type of three. You're saying I'm everywhere. You're talking about so many different things. I said poverty. I even made sure to say poverty is not just to Black people. Poverty, what poverty creates, the mindset that poverty creates, the survival skills that you.
And you think that's universal?
And the way of life. And I think that just is no. I think that goes to poverty.
Okay,
now,
no. But Courtney, you can't be saying you're saying both things at the same time. You said poverty. No, listen. You're saying poverty, general word.
Yes.
Poverty, general word. Poverty affects us the same? No. Poverty reaches us the same? No. Of course it doesn't. My poverty is different from your poverty. The reason why I was poor is different from...
Poverty is poverty.
No, it is not.
It doesn't matter why you're poor.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
Poor and why, if you were poor, yes, so listen, what I'm saying, you're so defensive. I'm not even here to be defensive. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter how someone is poor. And I'm not even talking about just being poor. I'm talking about poverty in itself. You know, everybody has one in their town. We know where to go. We're talking about poverty and we want to see it on the streets. We know what side of town to go to. That part of town, create that mind frame and mentality is one in itself.
Courtney, just so I can, because I've only got 30 seconds, let me respond to you.
Right.
You said.
Yeah, but you're putting words in my mouth.
No, actually, I'm taking.
What I'm saying is Black people have never, like, what the growing up as a white person in those times, you were free to be free. And you didn't have to worry about or have a survival mindset.
Universally, right, Courtney? Universally, every white person.
If that's what you want to.
No, that's what you said.
You're trying to make it about every white person when you know that there's there are always the different apples of everything. So if you want to make it about every single person, you can't even say that about anything.
Okay.
And
Courtney,
White Mike was definitely talking about all black people.
Actually,
So,
that's the reason why I corrected him, but you guys didn't hear that. I got to go to traffic, but Courtney, I promise you we'll have this discussion again in a much more elongated form, maybe even this weekend. God bless you. You know I love you. I got to go. Let's get a first check of our weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Southbound 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B. If you are traveling southbound 91 into Meriden, delays again approaching 19 to 17. If you're on the northbound side of 91, look for slow traffic from 20 Country Club Road, sluggish up to exit 23 in Rocky Hill. After that, a little slow again, 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Westbound 84 slowing down as you approach the Bulkley Bridge in Hartford up to 46 Sisson Avenue. 84 eastbound, a little tight, 46 into the downtown tunnel. 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 north in Berlin slowing by 32. 84 westbound Cheshire delays from the 691 interchange up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound tight 17 to 18 into Waterbury. Southbound Parkway delays from exit 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound, you're slowing from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy.
WTIC weather. Well, the rest of our Friday afternoon, mostly sunny, windy, and not as hot. There'll be a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, though, the high of 84. Clear tonight, remaining mild with the low down to 63. The heat starts to build again over the weekend, partly sunny and very warm for Saturday, the high up to 88. Becoming cloudy, warm, and humid with a thunderstorm late Saturday night that could produce flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts. Then Sunday, mostly sunny, will break the record from 1921 with a hot and humid day and the high of 96. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock. Hartford temperature 82 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man who hit a Hartford police cruiser fleeing a traffic stop 2 years ago, killing a police detective, is being sentenced today. Bobby Garton was killed. Officer Brian Carney seriously injured after Richard Barrington smashed into their cruiser as they were en route to another call. Barrington took a plea over the winter to manslaughter and other charges, the state recommending 20 years in prison for the now 20-year-old, although the Garton family has called for a considerably higher sentence. Defending champ Scotty Scheffler had a 2-shot lead late in his second round at the Travelers Championship, but he found the water on 17, wound up with a double bogey and a score of 69. So he's tied for the lead with Justin Thomas, who shot a 64, like everyone else, talking about the wind gusts of more than 30 miles an hour.
It was a lot of crosswinds. You very, very rarely you actually never had a straight downwind or straight into the wind shot. So it's a lot of crosswinds where, you know, the difference of riding the wind and holding the wind has a big difference of distance control and everything.
Thomas made 5 straight birdies on the back 9. He and Scheffler now 9 under. Denny McCarthy also a shot at 64. He sits 2 shots off the lead. Jason Day still out on the course. He's 7 under through 14. Nick Taylor finished the day at 6 under, carding a 68. Aaron Eckroat, who was the leader going into today's second round, currently at 6 under through 14. And this Travelers Championship leaderboard update has been brought to you by the law offices of Brown, Payne, Dearest, and Scott. The Columbia student who had been held by the government since March has been ordered released. They've been trying to remove Mahmoud Khalil due to his protests and support for Gaza in the war with Israel.
The judge said he will not order electronic monitoring of Khalil. The judge added that what all the evidence adds up to is a lack of violence, a lack of property destruction, and a lack of anything that would be characterized as inciting violence, saying that he's given opportunities to the government multiple times to address the lack of evidence pointing to that front, and said that they've provided none.
That's Jake Rosen reporting. In Geneva, Iran's foreign minister blasting Israel for launching a military campaign. Correspondent Elizabeth Palmer.
He's going to meet with the foreign ministers of France, Germany, Britain, and a representative from the European Union. President Macron of France has said that the Europeans will present Iran with a document. It's for discussion with a view to opening up some diplomatic space and maybe sometime down the road de-escalating this war.
Frustrations keep brewing in Hartford over Senate Bill 8. That's a controversial measure that would allow striking workers to collect unemployment benefits after 14 days off the job. A group of pro-union advocates gathered Monday outside the governor's residence to protest Governor Lamont, who's promised to veto the bill, saying it's bad for business and unions. At that same protest, the conservative Yankee Institute had parked a truck with signs in favor of the veto, but it ended up being vandalized, allegedly, at the hands of union supporters. This is the group's president, Carol Platt-Liebau.
Our view is everybody has the right to a point of view. The unions have a right to come out and tell the governor that he ought to sign this bad bill. The Yankee Institute also has a right to come out and encourage the governor to veto it.
U.S. Supreme Court says it won't fast-track any challenges to the Trump administration's tariffs.
It's not likely until the end of the summer that you'll see the court make some decisions regarding whether the tariffs are lawful.
Legal analyst and Loyola Law's Lori Levinson. Wall Street, the Dow up 35, NASDAQ down 98, S&P down 13 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men? 1 minute. Longer days, warmer nights, and romances in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated, because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life. And fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
All right, I've just received word that we do indeed have a sentence in the case of Richard Barrington, who was being sentenced for the death of Detective Bobby Garden in 2023. James Rutowski, the Sergeant James Rutowski, who is the president of the Hartford Police Union, just sent me a text that says the sentence was 30 years suspended after 16 with 2 years served. So in essence, 14 if he does have good behavior in that 14-year time. So it looks like they met the request of the family by sentencing him to 30 years, but suspended after 16 years, since he's already spent 2 years. I think he was put on bond in 2023 and has been serving for those 2 years. So that only adds a year or 14. So in essence, 14 years, depending on his conduct inside the jail system. We will get a phone call, I'm sure, from one of these folks. Police officers appear to be filing out of the Hartford courtroom. In fact, that looks like Rutowski right there, who's on the screen. So he's probably going to be calling me right now, and probably to mourn with some of them. They don't look happy. At least the officers who I just saw, and including Rutowski, who just left the courthouse, Superior Courthouse, does not look happy. Doesn't look like he's satisfied on his face, nor do I believe that the family is. We will wait for them to have their press conference. I'm sure they'll be talking to the news media. If we do indeed get Will Garton, Bobby's brother, on the show, we will immediately go to him no matter what. So stick around. More news, more views, and updates on this story as it breaks. Let's get to weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B. And you'll slow again 19 to 17 as you move down into Meriden. Now, the northbound side of 91, sluggish, stop and go 20 up to 22 in Cromwell. Again, some more slow traffic as you approach 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Westbound side of 84 slows just after 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing 46 into the tunnel. 291 through 84, that looks real good east of the river. 2 westbound just a little slow. 1D up to the 84 west merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound slows 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 southbound some slow traffic. Cromwell Middletown line down to the Aragoni. If you're heading toward Waterbury, 84 eastbound sluggish from 17 to 18. Westbound 84 got some tight traffic from exit 27, the 691 interchange up to exit 25 in Waterbury, and again 22 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing 3 to 5, again 8 out to 11 in Newtown. If you are traveling southbound on the Parkway, delays 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week's Stu Leonard app deals, direct from Amish country. Stu's naked all-natural chicken thighs or drumsticks are just 99 cents a pound.
Naked chicken?
Naked salmon is just $9.99 per pound.
And naked fish?
Save $3.
WTIC weather.
All right, as we make our way through the rest of tonight, clear skies, comfortable, the low down to 60. Saturday going to be the coolest day until the middle of next week, at least. Partly sunny, very warm, the high up to 89. Becoming cloudy, remaining warm and humid Saturday night, the low down to 71. The National Weather Service issuing an extreme heat watch starting Sunday morning all the way through Tuesday evening. That means dangerously hot conditions with heat index values potentially exceeding 105 from Sunday morning all the way to Tuesday evening. So Sunday will break the record set in 1921 with a hot, humid day, the high up to 96. Very little respite with the temperature only going down to 77 Sunday night. Monday, partly sunny. Again, record-breaking heat for that day. Hot and humid with the high up to 98. Tuesday, mostly sunny, breaking the record for that day. Hot and humid, a thunderstorm around in the afternoon, the high up to 99. Now, again, that's an extreme heat watch in effect from Sunday morning through Tuesday evening. We'll likely see that becoming an extreme heat warning during the day on Saturday, about 24 hours in advance of the event happening. So right now it's 82 in Danbury, 86 in Bridgeport, 81 in Bristol, and 82 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Ready to elevate your career? Odyssey is looking for a senior account executive to lead high-impact campaigns with top clients. If you're an experienced AE looking for your next challenge, we're looking for you. Apply today. odysseyinc.com/careers.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Is your old AC system buzzing its last breath? Install a new energy-efficient system with Call the Bee, and we'll buy your old AC unit up to $1,500 and put it to good use to train the next generation of local HVAC pros. Enjoy lower energy bills, quieter performance, and comfort all summer long. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.com to schedule a free estimate. Call the Bee, Connecticut's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. We'll be there, and we'll be fair.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I
actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com. Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio. It is ladies' night. Roseanne is also in the house. Let me actually get her camera on. Say hello to everyone, my dear.
Hi.
Yeah, so right now we're still waiting on people. They're filing out of the Hartford Supreme Courthouse. Right now, we're just waiting for that press conference to begin. Like I said, we'll take it if necessary. I thought I saw Sergeant Ratowski walk out. The guy who walked out was wearing a uniform, looked just like him. But I just spoke to Ratowski, and he just said, no, that was not him. So I apologize for stating that earlier. But right now, it looks like someone is stepping up to the podium. Let me see if I can grab a little bit of this. I don't hear any volume on this, though. I don't think that they're taking it. It says they're taking it live, but we can't hear anything. So if they decide to turn the volume on, I guess we'll join it, whatever the case is. How are you, Roseanne?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. So we got plenty of stuff to talk about. There are people on the phones who have been dying to get on.
And no arguments this week to talk about.
Yeah, we have no arguments this week,
look at us.
right?
We're growing as a couple. I
And
love it.
and you know what? This is the first week where we had no arguments. And interestingly enough, the reason why is because I took you out to Dilly Dally. I took you out to go dilly-dally and walk around Target.
We did dilly-dally.
Yeah, so I actually got you out of the house, and you were able to spend money, which apparently is the great equalizer. Yeah, we'll talk about all of that and more. Let me get to a couple of phones, if you don't mind. Some people are on hold. Let's go to John in Meriden. Hello, John.
Hello, Reese. Hello, Roseanne.
Hello.
John here.
Hey, John.
I've been hearing on the different shows before your show about the Posse Comitatus Act and the National Guard.
Yes.
The Posse Comitatus Act applies only to regular Army, not the National Guard.
Correct.
That is why we ended up with Waco, which was National Guard troops and not regular Army. Then we have today that the Ninth Circuit Court tells President Trump that and what's a wonderful thing, that he can use the National Guard.
Right. Did you find it interesting that the Ninth Circuit Court did that? Because there have been some major changes in that court, which used to be extremely liberal. You didn't have a chance in heck to get a conservative president to get anything. But once it went to the Ninth Circuit, you were done for. And it's been interesting that the Ninth Circuit is actually been able to get some conservative judges on there, and has had a complete
I agree.
swing.
Yes, there has been a big change
Yeah,
there.
right?
And one of them is an appointee from President Obama.
That is correct.
And it was all three voted yes. And I'm sure they looked up the Posse Comitatus Act and said, yes, the National Guard can be used, but not regular troops, regular Army.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Reese. Thank you, Roseanne, and have a blessed, wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too. Let's go to Dave in Ellington. Hello, Dave.
Roseanne,
Yes, sir.
slap him in the head once a day just to keep him in line.
I throat chop him.
Okay?
You would
Just
like
to keep
that.
him honest.
It's a throat chop.
Slap him in the head once a day. So, the Ninth Circuit Court. Wow. Look at that.
I know.
Liberals all over the world. We're in the Ninth Circuit Court. Now, all of a sudden, we don't care so much?
Well, I would put it this way. The reason why I say that about the Ninth Circuit Court with regards to John's call I don't know if you remember in 2008, that was called Proposition 8 in California. And
oh, yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah. Proposition 8 was a proposition to acknowledge gay marriage in the state. Not to. I apologize. Not to acknowledge gay marriage in the state. And there were plenty of actors and celebrities who were doing commercials to vote it down. Well, sure enough, it was voted up. In fact, they realized that even though they're a small group, African Americans who were kind of the kind of push on that decision, 74% of African Americans who voted on the referendum in 2008 because they showed up for Barack Obama in that election voted for Proposition 8. Well, the Ninth Circuit Court, after the fact,
let me tell you this.
hold on, no, don't interrupt. They overturned it. They overturned it, the Ninth Circuit Court, because they said that the vote of the people, they don't know what they're talking about. They're not smart enough to realize what they were voting for, and turned it over against the will of the people. It was unheard of, and no one ever challenged it thereafter. I'm sorry, Dave. Now go.
Now I look at people and say, I don't know nothing about nothing.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Now think about it. This guy served 2 years, only got 14 years for killing a cop.
Well, he's got, technically 16. I don't, like I said, this is one of those things that I am not attached to, so I can't give my assessment of this.
Just wait till the guards get a hold of him.
I don't think that. First of all, you don't need that happening.
Forgetting
Watch.
Hold on.
Wait till the guards get a hold of him.
All right.
Or he agreed to manslaughter.
Right. He pled guilty.
The difference between manslaughter and murder is a lack of intent.
Right.
Or a lack of what do you call it when premeditation.
Right.
This was a reckless, careless act that a child. Let's be honest. Frontal lobe development is not there. This is still a child. It was a very deadly act. It was egregious. It was erroneous. There was no malice. There was no premeditation. So, I mean, I understand that the desire is there, but, we have to think about this like realistically. This is a child who made a stupid error. He's going to pay for this for a very long time. He is going to have this on his record for the rest of his life. He's never going to be free of this.
Right.
I mean, we have to look at some of those facts. There's no malice. There's no premeditation. It was just a crappy thing that happened.
And a call on his part. And I mentioned this earlier. The thing that blows my mind about this young man is we are not looking at a child who had a criminal record to run from.
Because you're stupid.
Right? And I'm saying to myself, and I throw this in. I throw this in with accountability. Young people and the word accountability. He ran
oil and vinegar.
Right. He ran 2 red lights safely. He was pulled over by police. He probably would have gotten a year, maybe even probation, whatever the case may have been.
Probably just lost his driver's license.
Exactly. Whatever it may have been, that's what his consequences were. But everyone would have lived if he had just been accountable for being caught for doing something wrong.
Can I just add that I think another part of it too is this desire to be about the culture. There's that underlying. There's this sort of gravitas.
That we run from.
There's a gravitas that goes to being able to tell your buddies, yeah, man, I got pulled over and I ran away from the cops and I got arrested. It's a little time. It's about street cred, I think. Like there's a little bit of that probably is nobody's considering. You get a stupid kid doing stupid things, making stupid decisions. You've given him a 5,000-pound weapon with which to be stupid. He's got consequences. He's going to suffer, and
Do you think that the family was asking for 40 years?
Listen,
yeah.
I understand that that's their desire, right? You did me wrong. You took away my loved one. I got it. However, the family doesn't get to make that decision. There's a reason why an impartial party makes that decision.
Yeah.
The judge is not emotionally involved. The jury is not emotionally involved. They can see the facts for what they are. And they made a decision somewhere in the middle. Everybody suffers. Everybody loses. It's painful for everyone involved. Justice has been served.
Is there a righteous indignation for them not getting what they want? Or do you believe that they should reconcile with things are the way that they are and move on? Should they
Well,
should
I
they
don't
let
think
this
you-
consume them?
I don't think you ever move on from. I mean, I've not lost.
No, I mean move
someone,
on.
right?
Move on
I've
from.
not lost anyone, so moving on doesn't seem like something one can do. What they can do now is maybe find a way to reconcile this with themselves, find peace with themselves, maybe, go out into the community and start advocating to young children, young boys in particular, how stupid their decisions can be. Look, this took my father, my husband, my son. And, you can take any bad situation and make it, a good one, or at least have some worth, some value, so that it's not in vain.
Right. I'm getting this. Okay, so this is coming in from Mark. He says, tell Roseanne that he had a prior existing criminal record to this incident. All criminal references were erased or expunged when he turned 18.
Because he was a minor.
Right. Apparently, he stole cars and hurt people in his underage years. This wasn't the first encounter with cops or breaking the law.
Oh, that changes everything.
Well, no. It
but
does. I
still,
mean, it does change everything. But I'm looking at this again.
There is a pattern of behavior. See, what was conveyed to me was this first offense. This kid's never been in trouble
That's
before.
what the report says.
So we were intentionally misled.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why. But still, this was not malicious. This was not premeditated.
But even in the case of this
was a stupid act committed by a stupid child.
But even in this case, if his juvenile record was not going to have any bearing on the incident where he was pulled over, because again, they are separate, and that's how the criminal justice system works. In essence, this would have been his first occurrence
as an adult.
So again, I don't think it's either here nor there. There is a pattern of behavior. There's a psychology.
There's a
here.
There's a mindset.
Yeah, there's a mindset behind this by running from the cops. But again, that's the tightrope. As I always tell people, there are consequences to what you do, and I think in this case, this was fatal and accidental nonetheless, but was fatal. But now it brings to the question, and I promise I'll get to the phones in a second, in the next break. But what I think is something we should consider here is when we are looking for, and I don't want to suggest that Mark is saying it, but hear me out here. Because of his juvenile record and because he had a pattern of these things, are we holding him accountable for this incident or prior? Right? It's like he did this before, so now this incident and taking this life, we have to take every one of his prior and then apply that to what he did in this case.
That is called double jeopardy.
Right.
If he's been convicted previously, it's called double jeopardy. It's against the law. You can't do that, right? Certain things can be taken into consideration. He does have a criminal record. Whether that was admitted into the court or not, I don't know. But ultimately, at the end, what they're prosecuting, what they did prosecute, was this action, right? It was not premeditated. There was no malice. It was a stupid error made by a stupid child. If you look back at his criminal record as a juvenile, you can see stupid behavior by a stupid child his entire life. If his parents are fighting so hard, for his legal battle right now, where were they while he was doing these things?
Right.
Where were the whoopings? Where were the punishment?
Minimal consequences.
Where was Dad?
Yeah. And I really do believe that from the victim's family's point of view, I know they are charged, when I say emotionally, on the past stuff, saying that because of that behavior, it led to this.
It's the but-for test.
Yeah, but-for,
his, previous release would this have occurred? And the answer is we don't know. We don't live in a world of hypothetical. Right. However, it doesn't serve a fruitful future if you're going to spend all of your life dwelling on this horrible thing. At some point, you're going to have to reconcile that this is the hand that you were dealt. What are you going to do with it now?
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a perspective. Thank you, and I thank you for putting that. Like I said, I didn't know exactly how to frame this, because I can't put myself in the shoes of the family. I can't put myself in the shoes of having a child that had committed something like this. So where would my emotions go?
I would have beat the curly hair off of my little 18-year-old. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
There is no way that boy barely speeds.
Yeah, I hear you. We're going to take your phone calls when we take this little, short intermission for a little bit to get some traffic, some weather, and of course the bottom of the hour news. I'm sure John Silva is going to have some more updates on this case as well in his report. So stick around for that, and we got much, much more. Telephone number is 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. It's Reese on the Radio, chilling out with his better half, Roseanne on the radio, when we return. Here's Jason Katarina and Mark Christopher. They're in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. And if you are heading in toward Hartford right now, on the southbound side of I-91, delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And again, you'll see some slow traffic moving 19 to 17 as you move down into Meriden. Northbound 91 is sluggish, stop and go from the Middletown Rest area up to 22. Again, delays from 23 up to 25, 26, Rocky Hill and Weathersfield. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45. Flatbush 84 eastbound, sluggish 44 down into the tunnel. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound, you've got delays Harbor Park up to the Aragodi Bridge. 9 northbound, again slowing from 32 in Berlin up to exit 34 in New Britain. If you're on the westbound side of 84, you've got slow traffic from exit 26 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little slow in Cheshire, moving down by the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound slowing in Danbury, 9 up to exit 11. If you're southbound on the Parkway, look for slow traffic from exit 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 10.
It's called, we have it set up. It's a 501c3. Detective Robert Bobby Garton Memorial Fund. Thank you.
Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, mostly sunny, windy, not as hot, with a thunderstorm
Hey,
in spots
Roland, do
this
me a
afternoon.
favor.
The
Let
high of
Peter
84.
and Jessica
Clear
know
and
we're
mild
going to them
tonight, the low of
next after the bottom of
63.
the hour.
Then Saturday, partly sunny and very warm as the heat starts to build again, the high up to 88. Saturday night, warm and humid with a thunderstorm late that could produce flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts. Then Sunday, the heat really kicks in, mostly sunny, breaking the record from 1921. Hot and humid with the high of 96. I'm meteorologist Jason Katarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 2:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man who was behind the wheel of a vehicle that struck a police cruiser in Hartford 2 years ago, killing a detective and leaving his partner seriously injured, was sentenced today. Richard Barrington gets 30 years behind bars. He was 18 when he fled a traffic stop, hit the cruiser, and was on its way to another call. Detective Bobby Garton was killed. Officer Brian Carney survived but was seriously injured. Outside court a short time ago, Detective Garton's brother spoke, saying they were looking for 42 years for Barrington, and the family not happy with the sentence that was handed down today. A week into the war, Israel and Iran launched new strikes, even as some new diplomatic efforts got underway. President Trump says he's going to wait about 2 weeks to see where things go before deciding one way or another what the U.S. role will be eventually. It's been a windy day at the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, and that's played havoc with some of the golfers today. This leaderboard update sponsored by the law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest and Scott. Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler finished the day tied for the top spot at 9 under. Thomas finishing with a 64. Tough day for Scheffler. He hit the water on 17, bogeyed, and finished the day at 69. Denny McCarthy and Jason Day and Austin Eckroat all tied for third at 7 under. as the wind continues to play havoc out there. Patrick Cantlay finished the day at 5 under. He carded a 68, and Nick Taylor also shot a 68 in the second round. He finished at 6 under today. Police in Granby continue to investigate what they're calling a suspicious death. They were called to a Hartford Avenue home on Thursday evening. They haven't released much in the way of details at this point, including who the person is and how they died. They are receiving assistance from the State Police Major Crimes Division. Checking Wall Street, Dow finished the day down 35 points. NASDAQ was down 98 and the S&P down 13. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Goblin. Clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler...
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
My dumb butt didn't push the button. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio. You probably didn't hear me. I was trying to keep Jessica on the line. Jessica, if you can, call back at 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Peter in Canton. How are you, Peter?
I'm good. How you doing?
What's going on?
Not too much. I'm lily white, so I can't presume to know the mindset of the African American. But it's you keep your mind straight, stay out of drugs, stay out of alcohol, and you work hard, and you can change your mindset.
That's how it works.
Can I just say that works for all
whites
people?
or blacks.
Yeah, that's what I think is the point he was
Exactly.
making. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely, Peter. I think that's always going to be the case. Again, like I said, people are injecting something into this case that doesn't need to be there. The kid,
Courtney overcomplicated it tremendously.
Yes, and that's. I
Like
think that's
she
the
had-
purpose.
She had two jigsaw puzzles, and she spilled them both on the rug and picked all the pieces up and put them in both boxes. She couldn't put the puzzle together with the wrong pieces.
Exactly the case. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate
It is.
that. You got it. Let's go to Mark in Windsor. Hello, Mark.
Hello, greetings to all the men and women listeners out there. I enjoy the show. I enjoy the input.
Thank you.
I have to say, your honey is incorrect.
Okay, that's
Bring
it.
it.
She's here
I
for
think
it.
Bring it.
Yeah, that young man is a young man at 18 years old, and he's a seasoned criminal. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I take it back. He's a seasoned criminal. He was, as a juvenile, he was robbing and stealing, and he got a wealth of choices. And it does matter when it comes to when he eventually killed that cop. because he wasn't changing. He was not going to change, and he's not going to change. At 18, he was the person. He is the person he was going to be.
Let me ask you a question. Are you the same man today that you were when you were 18? Or have you seen an error in some of your past behavior and made adjustments?
I've seen the error in my past behavior, and I've made
and that's
adjustments.
what I'm saying. This was a child,
the thing is,
psychologically and mentally, in brain development, like biologically, this was a child. The frontal lobe is not fully developed until the age of 25. That is science. There's nothing that I'm, saying that isn't backed in science. The frontal lobe is the part of the brain that deals with decision making. Now, something like this did need to happen. He did need to face extreme consequences in order for him, hopefully, to someday see the error in his ways. But you're right. The track he was going on was not changing. He needed consequences, but he was still a child intellectually, like biologically, still a child.
That him being a child or an adolescent, it does not negate
that. I don't. Mark, hold on for a quick second. I want to give you an opportunity to finish your thought because this is a great discussion. Let's get to another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you're heading 91 south into Hartford, delays 33 to 32. You're going to see more slow traffic as you move from exit 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91, bunch it up from the Middletown rest area up to exit 22 in Cromwell, and again, delays from 23 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Westbound 84 slows, approaching the Bulkley Bridge from 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound slowing, exit 4 to the 84 west merge. 9 northbound tight, 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 southbound slowing, Cromwell Middletown line to the Aragoni. 9 northbound slowing again as you move into Berlin. 31 up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84, your sluggish stop and go as you move from 26 into the west up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound delays from exit from exit 5 in Danbury up to 9 in Newtown. Again, 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you got slow traffic from exit 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Stuck in traffic again? Don't waste another minute. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester gets you in and out fast. Often in just one day, open 7 days a week. Get your smile back now. Columbia Implant Center, ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, as we head through the rest of tonight, partly sunny, very warm, the high up to 89, that's tomorrow. Goodness gracious, jumping the gun here for us. Clear tonight, the low down to 60. Very warm for us Saturday, the high up to 89. That's going to be the coolest of the next several days as we've got an extreme heat watch in effect from Sunday morning all the way through Tuesday evening. Dangerously hot conditions are expected throughout the day with heat index values potentially exceeding 105 degrees each day. Please be very careful. Make sure you stay well hydrated. If you need somewhere free and cool to hang out with air conditioning, head over to the mall or the library. Mostly sunny. We'll break the record on Sunday from 1921 with the high up to 96. Going to be humid as well. That's what's going to crank that heat index value up. Very little respite Sunday night. Very warm. The low only down to 77. Monday, record-breaking temperatures again. Hot and humid. One of the hottest of the year so far. The high up to 98. Tuesday, again, more record-breaking heat with humid conditions, a thunderstorm in the afternoon, a high up to 99 on Tuesday. 75 in New London, 81 in Mansfield, 82 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned straightforward ad. See if you could save at Progressive.com.
Hey, if you're looking for a reliable car that won't break the bank, Mitchell Auto Group has Mitchell Select, an exclusive lineup of affordable pre-owned vehicles. Each car carefully inspected with a 150-point check and comes with a 12-month warranty so you can drive with confidence. Sedans, SUVs, whatever it is, Mitchell Select has options for everybody. Go to MitchellAutoGroup.com, browse the inventory today. Mitchell Auto Group, delivering quality and value and always people drive safely.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to
Got
be.
it.
If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage. Exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We got so much show to get into. I'll give Mark a chance to come back so the two of you can continue your conversation, Roseanne, about the young man, Richard Barrington, who has now officially been sentenced to 30 years, 16 on good behavior, has already served 2. So in essence, he'll do another 14 if he performs well during his rehabilitation. But I want to read this comment inside the chat room. This one comes from Mark M. He says, Roseanne is clueless. Defending a criminal like she is makes me sick. You take a life, you should serve life regardless of age. I'm going to cut your mic off because you're going to respond, and I don't want you to respond. Okay, let's start over. Roseanne is clueless. Defending a criminal like she is makes me sick. You take a life, you should serve life regardless of age. Stop making excuses for this sickening behavior. She sounds like a liberal. Now, I'm going to let Roseanne defend herself, but I just want, I got to, Mark, you're a good guy. I'm sure you are, and I can clearly see it in your passion here because you feel like the family should get their pound of flesh, if not more. Okay, so I don't need to cast aspersions on you to make a point or in order to defend my wife. She's a grown woman. She could do that herself. But I do need to address it in this way as the host. As Roseanne was laying out, I started out by saying, I don't know how to take this because I can respond emotionally as to how it affects me and be outraged and say, oh, the man should serve life in prison. I don't think that's rational. What Roseanne is doing is exactly what I did in this case. And that was take it from where the law allows you to go. And impartial. And if you listen to everything she said, and I'll give her an opportunity to repeat it, following the law, which is not emotion, being impartial, which is their role, is to look at the case. Now, is there going to be a degree of bias on the judge looking at his age, looking at the law, looking at how it may affect him? We know there are activist judges out there. Absolutely. That all plays a role. But if you were listening to her, she didn't draw emotion from it. She said, this is a child who made a mistake, as she's putting it. And when I say a mistake, and that is running from the cops was a mistake. Taking the person's life was not premeditated. We know that. It was not malicious intent. We know that. His intent was to get away from the cops. His actions led to the death of the police officer. And does that warrant outrage? Of course it does. But she's only responding to it in an impartial way. She's trying to be fair-handed here in that. And as Mark is displaying here from Windsor, he disagrees with her, and he's explaining why. Just disagree. Doesn't have to be, she sounds like a liberal. She's just viewing this differently than you are. And she's doing it without emotion because she has nothing invested in it. Does that make her a criminal? Does that make her, insensitive? Okay, I guess. But, again, she's just going to give her a point. So let's get back to Mark because I want him to come back to exchange. Mark, what was the last thing you were saying, if you can remember, to Roseanne so she could respond?
Well, I was saying that I disagree with your honey, Roseanne.
Yes, Roseanne.
She's wrong.
Okay.
The guy, he was going to be the person he was. And this dude, his pattern, his his reckless, dangerous pattern of behavior took him right where it was going to. The dude was stealing cars and running from the police. And eventually he killed a police officer. Roseanne, she wants to give him a pass because
no,
she
that's not what she said.
Because let Mark finish, because you're going to hang up. And I won't
She doesn't
get
want to give him a pass, though. That's
You have-
clear. She doesn't want to give him a pass.
She does. She's in tune with the poor sentencing. This man got 14 years for killing a police officer.
How much time did you spend
if we
studying
don't
the law?
value,
That's my
If
question.
we don't value the lives of police officers in our community enough to prosecute this man longer than 14 years, whose life can we value in the community? The police officers are our last line of defense, one of the last lines of defense in the community. And this man is getting away with just 14 years. That's a travesty.
Provided, and this is Mark, and that's we don't have the foresight to know what his life is going to be like in jail or in prison, for that matter. 14 years is what he is going to be served in the event that he is out on good behavior. But he was sentenced to 30. If he does not make parole, there's a likelihood that he can do all of the time that he has been given. They gave him an out. The judge made that decision. But again, you're saying that she's taking the side of. I don't know. I'm not understanding where you get.
Because, she says you go with, the science says, he was juvenile and kids aren't developed. That does no good to this dead police officer or
All right, I'm going to go and chime in now.
Okay.
My son's father is a police officer. My son's grandfather, police officer. My son's aunt,
I don't dispute any
police
of that.
officers.
I don't dispute that.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking now, right? That's how it works.
You're the only
I
one that gets
value
it.
police
Mark,
officers
come on.
tremendously. I value law enforcement tremendously. I married into it. I myself served in the military. My primary company, the first company I ever was senior medic to, was an MP company. So I have a very high value for law enforcement. I've also studied the law. I've studied medicine. There are things that I know logically that may not necessarily sit well with how you feel about something. But again, the law isn't based on how people feel. This is based in fact. This is based on documents that were written devoid of emotion. Do I agree? Is 14 years long enough? If my son had killed someone, I don't think I would be happy with him getting 14 years. If someone killed my son, 14 years wouldn't be enough. However, I'm not the one that's prosecuting. I'm not the one that's judging this person. That's what the judicial system is for. It's not my job. It's not your job to decide who gets what and when. That is for the court system.
And that's the part, Mark, that I'm asking people in this case. I get the emotional response to it, saying that this kid has a long history of such and such, and that's what he should be graded on in this. I totally get that. And I'm looking at it from that lens, from how do I emotionally respond to this? But as a person who's analyzing this and having a conversation with people, I'm going to say I don't know whether or not it is fitting for 14 years. I don't know if it's fitting for 30 with 16 years. I can't tell. I don't know the mindset of the judge in this case. But I do understand people's disappointment or outrage on it. I think that the two can exist. Is that fair?
No.
Okay.
My reasoning, my perspective is not emotional.
Okay.
It's not. It's just me looking at a pattern of type of behavior, not just from this man, but from other people his age that are habitual offenders.
Right.
And I think that the court system and this judge especially, I don't know who he is, I don't know this judge, but they failed society. The man he should be incarcerated much longer than 14 years because to protect society.
Right. And you're looking at this from a precedence level. Like this act should set a precedent so that other kids who see this as a template for this is where your behavior
That's not a precedent.
accidental.
That's not a precedent. That's setting an example.
An example?
There is legal precedent that does exist.
Well,
I can go and look online there's some legal websites where you can look up legal precedent.
Okay, that's
across
a good
the
idea. You
country.
do that.
Let's do that then.
I think,
but
you do that. But I think that it's charged the crime. Disregard. I say disregard his age, because we use his age and he was a child and he wasn't developed. We use that to mitigate the sentencing. No, stop. It doesn't mitigate this man is dead. It doesn't mitigate the loss that his family is feeling. Charge the crime. This man
but more
killed
time's
another
not going to
man,
bring him
and
back. It's just
it's not, and that's not the point of it. None of this,
That's
but more time
the point of
will
justice.
protect more society. Roseanne, let me finish. Just
Go ahead, hurry up.
More time that he's giving will give more time to society to not be at risk of his behavior. He has already demonstrated to you a propensity to disregard your life. The man killed somebody, and it's definitive. He can't take that back. Am I the same person I was when I was 18? No. Have I done things but most of them I think I have repented for or am still trying to repent for.
I guess it depends on how other people feel that you've done wrong.
He can never. That man can never. He can never, ever, ever. There's nothing he can do to rectify or repent or redeem himself to society or those people whose child he took.
I understand that. Mark, and look, I totally appreciate where you're coming from. I know it is heavy-handed there, but I know you understand that there are other people who disagree with. Did he just hang up? Did we just lose him? Whatever. But yeah,
I let him go.
Okay, I totally understand that there are people. Again, I said this before. I'll say it again. It is. I don't know. It's easy. It's easy for a lot of things. I can look. It's my job to do that over and over again. But again, in this case, taking someone's life, I understand where the parents were looking for the family, for that matter.
Listen, if somebody took my son's life or your life, I would be under the jail. I don't care. I couldn't live my life personally. I couldn't live without you or my son.
Are you trying? Can I just for the audience to know, because the way they're responding to it, are you stepping away from this and looking at it like down the line objectively?
I'm not looking at this. I'm not the victim here, and I'm not putting myself in the victim's shoes. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. If you're going to be impartial, if you're going to study the law, if you're going to study medicine, you have to learn how to separate yourself from the client, from the patient. You have to be clinical in these dealings, right? This kid was stupid, and for Donald there on Facebook, this was a black kid. So stop saying all this weirdness about it not being a black kid. This isn't about how I feel about it. This isn't about his family never gets to see him again. I know that.
You do run the risk of getting that ire because they think you're being.
I get it. I get it. But
okay.
That's not the point. The point isn't how you feel about it. Does it suck? It probably abso-freaking-lutely sucks.
Right.
They will never get to see that man again. Their father, their brother, their son. They will never get him back. I understand that. But this was a child. Biologically, his frontal lobe is not developed. I don't care what anybody thinks about this. This is science. He was not mentally capable of making the best decisions. He could make decisions, which is why 18 to 25-year-old men or 16 to 25 pay higher car insurance, have higher life insurance premiums, because y'all do dumb crap and die, okay? Y'all do dumb crap.
Understood.
He did a really stupid, crappy thing. The absence of malice, the absence of premeditation. Those are things that you cannot create out of thin air. You can't just, you know what, well, I don't like what he did, so put him in prison for life. That's not how the justice system works. I'm sorry you don't like it.
Nor should
I don't like it either. But you know what? Run for office. Change the laws. Stop griping at me. Don't call me clueless.
Nobody's griping at you.
I'm getting called clueless. Come on.
Well, first of all, you have to take that. I'm just saying it comes with the territory.
We can have a conversation like grown-ups. We can be logical. We can disagree all day long.
Right.
But this isn't me being clueless or having no idea what I'm talking about. I actually do know what I'm talking about. In fact, you should show them some of those books back there on your shelf, my law books.
Oh, yeah, that's
one of the things I studied in college. I mean, I know what I'm talking about.
I know you do. You can deal. I know you can deal with it.
I'm a little irritated right now. Like, how dare you question my intelligence? Like, I'm not going to sit here and spew garbage.
I don't think they're questioning your intelligence. I think what it is, and I think in this case, is having your beliefs challenged or someone having a disagreement in this position can rub people the wrong way. But like I said, that's the tightrope, right?
Right.
The tightrope is having your opinion and someone disagreeing with it and making it either personal or their own personal plight to say, oh, you're wrong, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's really not that.
I can appreciate that you disagree. Absolutely. If someone took you or my son from me, I would not be okay. Yeah. 14 years would not make me happy. I would not feel content. I could watch them die by lethal injection. I would still not be happy. It would not be enough justice as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
Right? So I understand that. But again, we have to think about this pragmatically. We have to understand that we have a justice system that was put in place for a reason. We need to just, drink water, drive on. Huh?
All right. With that, we'll move on. And we'll continue taking your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. You in the gauntlet today. We'll be back. Let's get some weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're southbound 91 coming into Hartford, you're looking at delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And you're going to slow again as you move down to Middletown. It's sluggish from 20 down to 17 as you move down into Meriden and the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Northbound side 91, some slow traffic, sluggish from 21 up to exit 25-26 in Wethersfield. After that, good ride, Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows, Bulkley Bridge into the tunnel. 84 eastbound, you got tight traffic about a mile before 46th Avenue down into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay, 2 westbound slowing from exit 4 up to the 84 west merge in East Hartford. If you are traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni, 9 southbound slowing Cromwell Middletown line down to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound is tight 31 up to 34, Berlin into New Britain. Westbound 84 tied up from 26 in Cheshire. You're heavy up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Eastbound side of 84 slowing 5, and that's tight right up to exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 62 into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound slowing 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
The W.I. Clark Company, now 100 years strong. Find us at WIClark.com. 100 years ago, W.I. Clark started out with a mission: sell superior construction equipment backed by quality parts and service. Today, we represent brands like John Deere, Wirtgen, and Leeboy. The W.I. Clark Company. Find us at WIClark.com.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, mostly sunny, windy, not as hot, with a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, the high of 84. Clear and mild tonight, the low of 63. Then Saturday, partly sunny and very warm as the heat starts to build again, the high up to 88. Saturday night, warm and humid with a thunderstorm late that could produce flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts. Then Sunday, the heat really kicks in, mostly sunny, breaking the record from 1921, hot and humid with the high of 96. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man who struck a Hartford police cruiser with his vehicle as he fled a traffic stop 2 years ago was sentenced today. Detective Bobby Garton was killed. His partner, Officer Brian Carney, sustained serious injuries. Richard Barrington gets 30 years in prison, suspended after 16. Garton's brother, Will Garton, said outside court they wanted 41 years, one for each year of his brother's life expectancy.
We're kind of still speechless right now. It was hard to control myself of just some of the lies that they're trying to spin as facts, and I'm glad I kept my composure as a civilian.
Garton says the family is working on a memorial fund in his brother's name, adding they want to establish a fund to help cover the costs of funerals of officers who are killed in the line of duty. Weather conditions blew a lot of golf shots offline in round 2 of the Travelers Championship. This leaderboard update being brought to you by the law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest, and Scott. They even tripped up the world's number 1, Scotty Scheffler, for a moment. WTIC's Dave Mager has that.
A cruel wind haunting the world's best golfers. Gusts of more than 30 miles an hour swirling. Defending champ Scheffler went so far as to blame the wind for his shot winding up in the water on 17.
I'll try not to get a wind gust on the tee shot today. I hit a perfect shot there that was basically going to land right on our target line, and somehow the ball actually was slicing and it almost went back the other direction. So, that's just one of the things that happens out there.
The double bogey wiped out his 2-shot lead. He wound up tied with Justin Thomas, who was able to manage 5 straight birdies. The wind will die down for the weekend, but scorching heat is expected. At the Travelers Championship, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Tommy Fleetwood now at 9 under through 16. Jason Day finished the day at -8 for a 62 in the second round, and Denny McCarthy wound up 7 shots under to finish the day at 64. President Trump is continuing to weigh the options on how to deal with Iran 1 week into its air war with Israel. More from Washington and correspondent Linda Kenyon.
President Trump says the clock is ticking for Iran to give up its nuclear program.
Giving them a period of time. We're going to see what that period of time is, but I'm giving them a period of time, and I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum.
Speaking to reporters in New Jersey, the president said he's not looking for war, but he will take steps if he must.
Always a peacemaker. That doesn't mean sometimes you need some toughness to make peace.
And that means using bunker buster bombs, which Israel does not have, in order to take out Iran's underground nuclear facilities. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
A Columbia University grad who was held in detention for organizing pro-Palestinian rallies has been ordered released.
The judge ruled last week that Khalil cannot be detained simply based on a declaration from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and the Department of Homeland Security has kept Khalil detained based on allegations that he omitted details from his green card application years ago. It's overwhelmingly unlikely that a lawful permanent resident would be held on the remaining charge here, the judge said, adding that there's an effort to use the immigration charge here to punish the petitioner for anti-Israel speech. As a graduate student at Columbia, Mahmoud Khalil was among the leaders of students who protested Israel's war in Gaza in 2024. Khalil has since graduated from the school.
Correspondent Jake Rosen. Police in North Branford say one person died today in a 2-vehicle crash. Around 10 this morning, multiple 911 calls came in reporting the crash in front of 999 Foxon Road. Police say the driver of one of the vehicles sustained serious injuries. That person was rushed to Yale, New Haven, where they were pronounced dead. The driver of the other vehicle sustained minor injuries, according to police. Foxon Road, Route 80, was closed between Twin Lakes and Cedar Lake roads for the investigation, which remains ongoing. On Wall Street this afternoon, the Dow finished the week up
John
35 points.
We're about to have Will
NASDAQ down
Garton
98, S&P down 13.
brother.
For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com.
For
John
if he
Silva,
wants a soundbite from it,
WTIC,
just to let
1080
him
News.
give him a heads up
men?
that he's gonna
Oh,
be on.
I miss. All right. Okay, cool.
Summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. Maybe even your sex drive is off. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Northeast Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an improved sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, stand by. We, as promised, we will have Will Garton on the program in the next break, so stand by for that. We'll talk to him about the sentencing of Richard Barrington today inside the courtroom, find out exactly why this took so long throughout the day. We didn't get a verdict until roughly about 4 o'clock today. We'll talk about the process, ask him some questions about if there was this interaction that we were hearing going on with Black Lives Matter, 860 being there, if there was anything that he saw there that gave him pause. So we'll talk to Will in a moment, so stand by for that. And we're happy to have him on the program to talk about his brother, what they were trying to accomplish today in the courtroom, and if there is any satisfaction in the judge's decision. Also, I'd like to make sure that we announce today, because we have to do it, our Between Rounds winner today is Giancarlo A., who is from Rocky Hill. Today, he is our winner of the dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. And you can also pick up Between Rounds bagels at your Big Y stores. So if you want to win a chance to get a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Look for the form. Must be a resident of Connecticut and cannot have won within the last 6 months. Please make sure you put in your telephone number. You cannot win if you don't put in your telephone number. Don't worry, I won't call you unless you want me to. I won't. Nobody will be giving your telephone number other than Between Rounds. I promise you. I saw some entries that didn't have the telephone numbers in there. You must leave your telephone number so somebody can contact you as well. So I promise you, Reese on the Radio will not harass you or give you phone calls. All right? Stand by for that. Like I said, Will Garton, the brother of the slain officer, Bobby Garton, will be on the program. Let's get a check of your weather and traffic again with Jason Caterina and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. And this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you are heading on the southbound side of 91, delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Southbound 91, you're going to slow again from 20 in Middletown down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Northbound 91, some sluggish traffic from 22 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Northbound 91 after that, moving well, Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up, approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47. Eastbound 84 locked up, 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay. 2 eastbounds moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Both sides of 9 heavy, approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound delays 22 up to exit 32 up to exit 34, Berlin into New Britain. Westbound 84 is running slow, approaching 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. In 84 eastbound, you're looking at delays from exit 8 in Danbury up to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway slowing 62 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic got you down? Well, turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures completed in a single visit, open 7 days a week for your convenience. Don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear skies tonight, the low dropping down to 60 degrees. The heat builds over the weekend, partly sunny, very warm Saturday, the high of 89. Saturday night becoming cloudy, remaining warm and humid, the low only down to 71. Then an extreme heat watch in effect from Sunday morning through Tuesday evening. Dangerously hot conditions are expected with the heat and humidity. The heat index values potentially exceeding 105 those days. So please stay well hydrated. Use caution if you need to do anything outside. Mostly sunny will break the record on Sunday from 1921 with the high up to 96. Very little respite Sunday night, only down to 77 and remaining humid. Monday, partly sunny, more record-breaking temperatures. Very humid, one of the hottest days of the year so far as well, the high up to 98. And then again on Tuesday, mostly sunny, more record-breaking temperatures, very hot and humid. A thunderstorm around in the afternoon, a high of 99 on Tuesday. Right now, 85 in New Haven, 79 in Waterbury, 83 for Bristol, and 82 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit ColumbiaDental.com.
If you've been injured in an accident, don't let the insurance company decide how much you're worth. At Carter Mario Law Firm, you're more than just a client and more than just a quick settlement. When you get Carter, we'll help you get more. More experience, more attention, and more accessibility. The Carter Mario Law Firm's zero-fee warranty means you pay nothing unless we win. Visit getcarter.com or call 877-GET-CARTER.
If you're looking for the best deal on Nexen tires, go to Town Fair Tire and get an unbeatable combination of Nexen tires at the guaranteed lowest price and more free services for life than anywhere else. With over 100 locations, Town Fair has over 600,000 tires in stock. So we buy Nexen tires for less and we always sell them for less. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire, and I mean nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
I'm Ed Evans. Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it. All right, we are back. News Talk 1080 WTIC. And again, as promised, and we'd like to thank him for gracing us with a phone call today, Mr. Will Garton. He is the brother of Detective Bobby Garton, who was killed in 2023 because of the actions of Richard Barrington, who was sentenced today in Hartford. William, thank you for joining the show, and I appreciate you doing it today under these circumstances. How you doing otherwise?
I'm not doing great, to be honest with you. I won't sugarcoat it at all for you. I feel, like I kind of said in my speech, I just feel like a complete failure, and I let my family down. I let Bobby down. We weren't able to convey on how important Bobby was to us, to Judge Gold. We got out-acted by the cowboy lawyer. Mm-hmm. We got out-acted by Barrington, thinking that he can just say, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure Judge Gold got maybe made up letters about Richard Barrington. I just feel very defeated and feel like a failure today. So,
and you use the term failure, and I'm assuming that is because you could not convince this judge to give what you and your family were looking for, and that was what would have been the life expectancy of Detective Bobby Garton, 41 years in prison for this young man. If you could assess anything, what do you think was a mitigating factor in the sentence we got today, which was 16 years, 30 years with 16 years suspended? What do you think led to that, if you could point out anything, or from the judge's speech?
The 3 letters that he read, in it's the slowest I've ever seen a man read a letter. Really driving home how great Barrington was before. He is 18 years old, so he's an adult, clean record. However, he stole a car in the youth, but he can't use that in court. But
Right.
we can say it here, you and I.
Sure.
But this isn't his first time. And when they showed the video of how fast that car was going and hitting my brother and Brian's cruiser, I think 40 years might have been too less. He had no remorse for any human being, let alone 2 police officers who would not have been there at that time if they weren't trying to save somebody else.
You said the judge, was it the judge or the lawyer who read the letter on Barrington's behalf? Was it the judge who read them out loud?
Yes.
Now, I find that a little unorthodox. I usually that letter, tell me if I'm wrong here, isn't that usually written by or read by the attorney for Barrington, his defense attorney? The judge reading that, did you see that as being a little unorthodox, as if he was setting you up for the sentence he was about to lay down, like sort of soften the blow? Did you get that impression?
Unfortunately, I don't have much. I really don't know what orthodox, what's normal, what's this. I kind of just, I look at Wolcott and I kind of just say, was this normal? She said yes, or she said no. So I'm not sure. I'm not educated enough to speak on that. So I'd be put that to disservice.
Sure.
Do I feel like he I would say he had a monologue, if you would, a monologue that tore emotions left and right from both sides. And he wanted to have everyone harping on every word that he was saying, like it was a theater, like it was a daytime drama.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept us intrigued, and he whipped our emotions for a very long time. And that's what he came out with at the end.
If you're just joining us, we're on the phone with Will Garton. He is the brother of Detective Bobby Garton, who was killed in 2023 at the hands of Richard Barrington, the 18-year-old at the time, who crashed into his vehicle, killing Bobby Garton and injuring his partner. And his partner's name, and forgive me because I need to mention him as well.
Yes, Brian Carney.
Yeah, Brian Carney, yes. And I knew the name. I couldn't get it off the top of my head. It's in my notes, but I apologize. And so there was something that I thought was odd about this, because this court case began at about, 10:30 today, if I'm correct, or was it earlier?
No, Judge Gold likes to run late, so I don't think we got started till 11.
Okay, so 11 o'clock. We don't get a sentence until about 4. And from what I understand, I was getting briefings from Sergeant James Rutowski, the police union president. He was telling me that there was a lot of recesses going on between lawyer statements, prosecutor statements, written letters. That was something that seemed to be dragging on. Was there a reason given to you why there were so many recesses?
I think one of the biggest reason was to swap out some of the staff, give them a break, because we were going for so long. And then the other half is the cowboy, their lawyer, Atkins. He talked, I want to say, for an hour and a half, making ridiculous excuses. Barrington talked for about 2 minutes. The judge, I felt like, talked forever with no substance whatsoever. It was a lot. I didn't listen a lot because I knew it wasn't going to help any situation. I just prayed to get through it, and I'm out here in the sun, and we're out, and there's a lot of work to be done. And we need to start looking at what society we want for our kids. Because Judge Gold sent a clear message today that running from the police is okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of people have that sentiment that we're talking to about this on the air. There's been some disagreement on this, like, the letter of the law, what is or what isn't admissible in cases like this. I know from your perspective, and I'm sure that I'm right here, you, as you just expressed, you believe that his prior action should have played a role in his disregard for human life in 2023, of course, that took Bobby's life. And how much of that, if you're looking at, what part of this is playing a role in your outrage at the way that the judge looked at it? Are you upset that the law does not consider that behavior? Do you want the law to be changed? Where are you looking at this? Because I know you feel shorted. I know you feel slighted. Your family does. But if you were to say that something is a miscarriage of the law or a miscarriage of justice, where would you put that today?
That's the big question that I'm going to reflect about over the weekend. But I think the biggest thing that we can kind of come the the true people, the people that want to see this world be a better place, we can come together and we can say, hey, if you run from the police, that's a felony. Not a felony B, just make it a felony. You run from the police, it's got to be it doesn't matter if no one got hurt. Doesn't matter what happens after. Stop running from the police. You saw the guy that ran from the police and he shot himself in the leg. I mean,
yeah.
But you can't be running from the police, and nothing ends good. And I was always told when you're youthful and the police officers are always like, don't make me run. You're gonna make it worse. I mean, when did we stop, talking to people like real human beings and not just a stat on a page?
Yeah. Was Bobby your older or younger brother? I know he was just 34.
He was my younger brother. It was my responsibility, and I kind of let him down.
Don't feel that way. I know that there's nothing I can say to you that can convince you of otherwise, but I do know the love and the care and the protective nature of big brothers. I've got 2 younger brothers, so I feel the same way. I'm thinking about them as I'm thinking about your brother and saying to myself, how could I cope? And it would feel you a degree of responsibility. Your brother, listen, the reason why this is a story is because, and there's so many people who are impacted by his life being taken, and the response to this has been overwhelming. Everybody wants justice for you and your family, and they do feel as though his life was shorted, the value of his life was shorted in a lot of ways, so you're not alone in this. I don't know what you're planning on doing, what your family's planning on doing, other than mourning the loss and sort of, I don't know, trying to reel in what the emotions are, what's going on. What's next for your family, your mom, your dad, everybody? What's next aside from sort of reeling all of this in and figuring stuff out?
Yeah, I mean, I have a big vision board of what I want to do with the Detective Robert Bobby Garton Memorial Fund. So there's a column on my wall, I want a field in Ghana. I want a emergency fund so fallen officers don't need to pay for their own funerals, which I think is ridiculous. I think, just being able to help someone in a time of need, because we were there and and we're able to come in and we're able to help them like that. And there's no paperwork. There's no nothing. It's just a check. Go do what you got to do. I think that would be incredible. And I feel like Bobby would really, really love that. Personally, on my side, I want to see laws changed. I want to see stiffer penalties. I want people to stop hiding behind their youthful juvenile, and I want to see them be held accountable for their entire life.
Mm. Apparently, from what I hear, there were some, I'm going to use the term, you don't have to co-sign this. There were some undesirables that arrived at the courthouse today. Was there any interaction with your family or your folks or people who were there supporting Bobby? Did you have any interaction with them, or did you just ignore their presence?
No, the lady was taking pictures through the window in the courthouse, and I pointed it out to the marshals, and the marshals actually got it really under control and sent her outside. They're like, "Hey, you're out of here." Then they were overruled by someone, someone way higher, that she was then allowed back in to the courthouse. There was no outburst from what I could understand, or that I saw, but we were warned that there might have been an outburst.
We did. Yeah, we heard that there was a back and forth between a member of Blue Lives Matter as well as this particular group. Or one of the individuals in that group. I thought that was a little tacky, especially under these circumstances, to inject that kind of tone into this. Somebody's being held accountable for something that they've done, and to try to inject other things outside of that. I thought those were things.
Well,
it was a little tacky.
They're opportunists. That's all.
Indeed.
They're opportunists. That's all they ever were, and all they're ever going to be. We're seeing that it's not working.
Yeah, and it shouldn't.
Let's get together and make it better.
Right,
for sure.
Because what they don't realize is that the actions of Richard Barrington could have affected anybody in the street who was coming through that intersection. You know, and what would they have been like if it had been somebody in their family? That was the moment that everyone should be reflecting and saying, what would I do then? And trying to inject something that had no place in this, where we should have been, one, getting this kid to be held accountable for his actions and remembering and respecting the life of Detective Bobby Garton should have been the case. But as you said, these folks are opportunists making it about themselves. I'm glad you didn't let that get to you, or your family let that get to you. And you stood fast, regardless of the outcome and what the judge decided. I just want to say thank you, Will. Thank you for being here. You have my number. Whatever you want to do, whatever foundation for your brother you want to do, please do not hesitate to contact me. You've got my cell phone number, okay? And you've got, like, absolute direct contact to this show, okay?
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all your thoughts and prayers.
You got it, sir. As everybody here in the WTIC family. Thank you, Will. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
You got it. Will Garton, ladies and gentlemen, brother of slain officer Detective Bobby Garton. We'll take another break. Let's get some weather, traffic, and some news. Jason Caterina's got weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. A little slow again, approaching 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91, some slow traffic as you move up on exit 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. After that, moving.
Yeah, that will work.
Westbound 84 is tied up just after 56 Governor Street into the tunnel. 84 eastbound locked up about a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Middletown's looking good. 90.
Can you just send me the correct spelling of the last name?
Slow traffic now, 32 up to 34 in New Britain. If you're traveling westbound 84, look for slow traffic from exit 22 up to the Mixmaster. 84 westbound also slowing in Cheshire, 26 up to 25A in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 8 out to 11 on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound Parkway delays from exit 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound, you're slowing 46 down to 44 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on Saturday, June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're celebrating our Tropic Rewards members with a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order in-app, online, or pop by the cafe. Terms and conditions apply.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, mostly sunny, windy, not as hot, with a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, a high of 84. Clear and mild tonight, the low of 63. Then Saturday, partly sunny and very warm as the heat starts to build again, the high up to 88. Saturday night, warm and humid with a thunderstorm late that could produce flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts. Then Sunday, the heat really kicks in, mostly sunny, breaking the record from 1921, hot and humid with the high of 96. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
82 degrees at 5:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A man who hit a Hartford police cruiser with his vehicle while fleeing a traffic stop 2 years ago was sentenced today. Now 20-year-old Richard Barrington gets 30 years in prison, suspended after 16, along with 5 years probation. Detective Bobby Garton was killed. Officer Brian Carney was seriously injured after Barrington smashed into their cruiser on Asylum Avenue as they were en route to a call in September of 2023. Day 2 of play at the Travelers Championship at the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell. This leaderboard update sponsored by the law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest, and Scott. And the wind really played havoc on the course out there today. As we check the leaderboard, we find the tie for first between Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler, both at 9 under. Scheffler had a time of it. He hit the water at 17, also bogeyed one hole. He finished with the day at 69. Justin Thomas, again, 9 under at 64. Rest of the top 5, Tommy Fleetwood finished 9 under 65. Jason Day at 8 under 66. And Denny McCarthy finished his round today at 7 under. He carded a 64. Man who pled the suspicious death investigation that began Thursday in Granby continues. Not much in the way of details at this point, other than to say they're investigating that death in a home on Hartford Avenue. They were called there late Thursday night. State Police Major Crimes Division has been assisting as well. Serious crash in North Branford leaves one person dead, another injured. Happened on Foxon Road, Route 80. Near the Twin Lakes Commons complex there. The person that died was taken to Yale, New Haven. The other driver sustained minor injuries. Federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from withholding billions of dollars in transportation funds from states that don't agree to participate in some immigration enforcement actions. And Israel and Iran have struck at one another again 1 week into their war as the president weighs U.S. involvement and new diplomatic efforts appear to be underway as well. Wall Street, the Dow finished the week up 35 points. The Nasdaq gained 98, and lost 98, and the S&P lost 13. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Plenty of phone calls we didn't get a chance to get to, but I want to thank Will Garton for calling up the show as promised. He didn't have to, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people who wish to talk to him. And we had very limited time and sort of spur. I wasn't sure I was going to get him on here. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that the sentence was going to be that. But what could you tell from him as far as his assessment of the judge in this case? Because you've been debating with people online and on the show, Roseanne, about
I heard a lot of emotion, right,
Clearly.
and it brought me to listening to him made me tear up. I can't imagine, especially when he said that about not being able to protect his little brother like that. That hurts. That really hurts. But I think. Do
you think the judge was, from what he said about the whole kind of filibustering of the judge?
I think that I would prefer to have a less biased witness who
Okay.
saw because what looks like monologuing or peacocking to me in the midst of my
grief.
Yeah, I mean, it could appear that way. And he did say that he wasn't listening to a lot of what was being said. I've watched a few sentencings myself. I understand what goes into it, what the judge is saying, his dissents,
I'll push back on you to say this. And I'm listening to this objectively, knowing that coming from William's point of view, this is his brother. He is literally in shame, feels as though, he didn't protect his brother and has put a lot of this burden on himself. I understand it, but then I don't understand it. That's a whole other conversation. Right. But as I'm listening to this, there was a part of it where I'm listening and going, from 11 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock to get to the sentencing. I feel like the judge had plenty of time to come up with this, dragging this out in a way in which it was done almost seemed superfluous at best. And I know, even if it's bias on Will's part, I feel like it was. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Well, you heard him say that the defense attorney spoke for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The kid spoke. Everybody has to speak. They got to switch people out. There's a lot going on in a
4
courtroom.
hours just seems way too much. I don't know. That's just the way I'm looking at it. Let's get another check of our weather and traffic, and when we return, we'll take your phone calls. Here's Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Another slowdown as you move into Meriden from 19 to 17. Northbound 91, that is just a little slow between 24 and 25, 26. After that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is slowing in East Hartford, approaching the Bulky Bridge out to exit 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you're locked up from exit 44, sluggish down into the tunnel. 2 westbound tight East Hartford, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 291, 384, that looks good. Both sides of 9 moving well into Middletown now. If you are traveling into the Waterbury area, a little slowdown, 26 in Cheshire to 25 in Waterbury, again 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown, delays 9 to 11. And if you're traveling southbound on the Parkway, look for slow traffic. 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week's Stu Leonard app deals, direct from Amish country. Stu's naked all-natural chicken thighs or drumsticks are just 99 cents a pound. Save $2. Plus Stu's naked salmon is just $9.99 per pound. You save $3.
WTIC weather.
All right, tonight, clear skies, not too bad. The low down to 60 degrees. Already starting to get warm as we head into the weekend. Partly sunny, very warm Saturday, the high of 89. Becoming cloudy, warm and humid Saturday night, the low of 71. An extreme heat watch in effect from Sunday morning through Tuesday evening. It's only a watch at this point as we're more than 24 hours out from the event. So tomorrow, that will likely become an extreme heat warning. And what that means is dangerously hot conditions with the heat and humidity, heat index values potentially exceeding 105 degrees at times, Sunday through Tuesday. So please stay well hydrated, get some free air conditioning at the mall or at the library. Be very, very cautious. Sunday, mostly sunny, will break the record set in 1921. Hot and humid, the high of 96. Very little respite from the heat overnight. The low only down to 77 and remaining humid. On Monday, partly sunny, more record-breaking heat. One of the hottest days of the year thus far. It'll be very humid too. The high up to 98 on Monday. Again, very little respite overnight. The low only down to 74. And then Tuesday, mostly sunny. More record-breaking temperatures. Very hot and humid. A thunderstorm possible in the afternoon. The high on Tuesday up to 99. So please be very, very careful out there as we head through the weekend and into next week. Right now, 83 in Bristol, 79 Waterbury, 82 in Danbury, and 73 in New London, 82 in Hartford. Everybody have a great weekend and stay safe. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine.
Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Want a career that's exciting and full of growth? Join Odyssey's Sales Associate program. Get the training you need in advertising, marketing, and digital, and be a part of a team that's shaping the future of multimedia. Visit odysseyinc.com/careers and search Sales Associate under Farmington CT.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Just hearing the word IRS can make you break out in a cold
Yes, sir.
sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back, and we're pretty much ready to wrap this up. Roseanne, you all ready? You sure to go? Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Anyway, let's go through the motions. We got plenty of calls, plenty of people who wish to opine. Let's get to them. 860-522-WTIC before we wrap this up for the weekend. Let's go to Jeff in Marlboro. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Reese. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, sir. What's up?
So I got a question for Rose. Actually, I have a couple questions and a comment, but let's see what we get.
Let's see what happens.
My question for Roseanne is she, was talking about studying law, and I did a little bit too. I have a associate's degree in criminal justice, and I want to speak to her about the mens rea.
Okay.
Of leaving a traffic stop, because if she's, she's probably familiar with that term, right, Roseanne?
Yeah.
And when he left that traffic stop, that guilty mind followed everything that he did after that.
Right, but does that equate to murder? Mens rea
Yes.
also has to come
I
into
would say
part when it
felony
comes
murder.
to, well, felony murder, again, requires intent and it requires premeditation. There was no mens rea regarding intent or premeditation.
Because he happened
He had the
upon...
men-
Fleeing
He had the
was...
he had the mens rea to leave the traffic stop.
Right, but was he in the
Everything-
mindset to commit a
everything he
murder?
did- everything he did after that follows that and carries the same weight.
To some degree, but there's differences between criminal justice and legal studies, right? Legal studies is studying the actual prosecution of law. Criminal justice is, more of your law enforcement type. So there's a huge difference in understanding how those two work. There is a path that you have to take to go from the initial act all the way to the final act. And if certain elements are missing, you cannot prosecute. There are elements missing to make this a felony murder case.
Does that
Is
answer?
leaving a traffic stop a felony?
That I don't know. I do know, however, he was not intentional in killing the police officer. There's a lack of intent. There's a lack of malice, right?
Yeah, but
You're
when-
trying
yeah,
to
but
use
when
the
you
but
rob- when you
for.
rob a store, when you rob a store and you kill someone, that's felony murder. If leaving a traffic stop is a felony, then
But what were the actions? Hold on, Jeff, because see, that's a slippery slope. If you rob a store and you murder the storekeep, it is the action like how did the storekeep die? He used a gun or a knife to then inflict deadly harm.
it doesn't. As my understanding is, Reese, it doesn't matter if you committed a felony and then a murder happened during the felony. That's felony murder.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not making the connection, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I'm kind of going to look at this as Roseanne is putting it, and that is, can you make the leap from leaving the traffic stop and then lead that to felony murder because he was charged with?
Okay, real quick. So I'm looking at the Connecticut law. I'm not familiar with Connecticut law because I didn't study for Connecticut law. I'm looking at it right here that fleeing a traffic stop is actually a Class A misdemeanor. It's not a felony. That is the Connecticut General Statute 14-223 Bravo. This offense is typically a Class A misdemeanor, but under certain conditions, it can escalate to a Class D felony, but that is at the discretion of law enforcement or the prosecuting attorney. So
Class D misdemeanor.
Class A
Class D
misdemeanor.
misdemeanor is classified as a crime.
It is a crime.
Yeah, Class A misdemeanor is what she said. A Class D felony.
If
it can be.
If they decide to pursue it as such. But in order for it to be a murder while committing, it has to be committing a murder while in the act of committing a felony. He did not commit a felony, not by Connecticut state law, at least what I'm reading thus far. He committed a misdemeanor. The lack of intent, the lack of malice, the lack of premeditation. I mean, there are elements that you have to put together as an attorney. There are elements that need to be put together in order to create a viable case for murder. There's no viable case for murder. If they had a viable case for murder, they would not have offered him manslaughter.
Well, manslaughter seems pretty weak. He should have had at least
agreed.
Yeah, it's like he should have had at least a murder charge on. Oh, geez, I forget what it's called.
I think in this case, what they did was, and clearly it's an indication of the prosecutor here, running a risk of a trial in a particular jurisdiction.
In a very liberal jurisdiction, a black defendant,
right? There's
they
a
weren't going to get a conviction.
There's a likelihood that you don't get a conviction, which all plays a mitigating factor. The sentencing is something completely separate, but the prosecution is always based upon those mitigating factors.
And if I can say personally, I think that any officer who is injured, disfigured, or murdered, dies in the midst of doing their duties. This includes canine. I think that should be. State law needs to be written that those are murder. Like, that's murder.
Right.
You've taken the life of a law enforcement officer to include a canine. I believe you should face murder. That's my personal opinion. That is not, however, the law.
Jeff, last word.
That's the other point I wanted to talk to Roseanne about, is talk to your lawmakers about getting stiffer sentences.
Absolutely.
We're not satisfied with this sentence. You need to have stiffer sentencing issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your patience as well. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. Hello, Sean.
Real quick, you guys are amazing. I've learned so much in the last 40 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
But one of the things that my heart goes out to the gentleman who lost his brother, because my brother was murdered by a friend.
Wow.
So that hits home.
Yeah.
And they didn't even look for him for a while. And so I can understand when you feel like justice was not done.
Yeah.
So I totally get that, and I appreciate you guys educating all of us as to the laws, because number one, Senator Blumenthal and I went toe to toe because I'm a independent social worker, as you know.
Yes.
And I've worked with guys who have beat their wives or tried to kill their wives and their children. And Senator Blumenthal worked really hard to get them on light sentences. So you're the gentleman, and you are absolutely right. You need to change the law.
Yeah.
Because the deal is, in Connecticut, they are lenient towards the criminal.
Yeah.
That is something I'm learning.
Years.
I'm learning that more and more every day.
And I watched that for 21 years, and I'm like, I got so pissed off. Someone called me yesterday to actually donate money. I said, when you're willing to go and change the laws so that we actually follow the laws, and it's not because you're black or you're white or you're green or you're blue or you're purple, you're from Mars, your mother, yeah, it doesn't make a difference. The law be the law. And from what the gentleman said, and we're in an era of the grandstand, and let's get our 15 minutes worth of fame.
Yeah, I do. But
Especially with Judge.
Sean, you make a good point. I was thinking that too with the sort of dragged out court proceeding, because there were so many eyeballs from the news media on this, that you kind of get caught up in the fame of it all, or the 15 minutes, Andy Warhol, sort of scope. But thank you, Sean. Let me get to some others before we get out of here. I appreciate you, buddy.
Have
You
a great
got it.
day.
You too. Have a great weekend. James is in Durham. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. First of all, Roseanne, I
Yes.
learned something new from you today.
Why, thank you.
You said you were a medic assigned to an MP company?
I was, yep. I was in the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, the old
45
guard.
plus years ago, I served in as an MP. Thank you very much.
Cool,
And
thank
I'm
you.
just going to leave it at that.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take this to a whole different perspective that nobody has talked about. And I don't know. I want your opinions on this. I'm just going to put it out there.
Okay.
Okay. This so-called man-child, who is now a man, as far as the laws are concerned,
sure,
he's an adult man. And I got two. There's two facts to truth that I'm going to say. So this is the first one. All right. But the way the law is written, and I understand the law is the law is the law. The way the law is written, his juvenile record had to be hidden, couldn't bring it out.
Right.
That's fine. Okay, but now this is a serious charge in a serious incident. And here's where I'm going to take it to an entire different level. He's already served 2 years in jail. Now he's going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
If it hasn't he's going in there with a badge of honor. I don't think there's going to be any rehabilitation on this guy's part, like something that Mark from Windsor was saying, but he wasn't getting directly to it.
Okay,
He's
that's a
going
great.
there with a badge of honor.
Right.
He killed a police officer. I think either the Black Muslims or the Black Panthers, and I have 3 direct family members in the Department of Correction, and because of that, I know people within the Department of Correction.
Right.
This guy is going to be protected
and embraced,
and they're going to take one of those groups is going to take him under his wing, and he's going to come out harder than he went in.
I will.
So that's number one. Tell me what you think. Number
Well,
one.
James, let me say, because I don't have enough time for the second one, but I do have to let you go, but I will answer it for you. So please listen, because we do have to literally call it a day, but I will answer you for you. And thank you for the call and that point of view. James is 100% on that level, but let me sort of play devil's advocate with that. If indeed he is embraced by the likes of those individuals, the likelihood that he will face rehabilitation and be on good behavior is slim to none. Because in those groups, they are known, those little gangs or those little subsets inside the prison, those are up to no good. There is not a lot of do your time and be quiet. So if indeed he gets with those wrong people, with the wrong, types inside there, there's not going to be a future for him in getting out or any parole for him or suspended sentence.
There's a lot that I don't know about this kid. where he grew up, what his home life was like, what his grades were like, what kind of student he was. All of these things do play a factor in who this person was, right?
Indeed.
But what I do know about him thus far, what I've just learned in the last, however long I've been sitting here, is he had a juvenile record, stealing cars, behaving in a manner that was not good, right? I don't believe, and remember I said, I think that even if it was first time offense and is living for the culture, this child is obviously, this young man is obviously living for the grandiosity of exploiting Black victimhood. And this is exactly as was mentioned. It is a badge of honor. He killed a police officer. He was fleeing police. Now he gets to walk in there, big man on campus. He's been there for 2 years. He's probably already got a little group of people.
But in my view, I mean, in my view, I you have to be careful of the company you keep in those
absolutely.
places. And again, if he is indeed sort of enveloped by that criminal element that is inside the prisons, if he is praised or looked up, he is more than likely going to get in more trouble inside that system.
And that 16 suspended is no longer suspended.
Exactly.
And he may even find himself, with more charges while he's incarcerated.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's going to have to be what it's going to be. I mean, sometimes we don't see God's hands moving. They just are, and it's up to us to be patient.
Yeah. That's us for today. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and thank you, Roseanne. Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you, and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She is Roseanne on the radio. You have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Roland, have a great one. Make that 30 grand. And can I have...
That's next weekend.
It's next weekend?
Can I hold some?
I want to buy $1. Let's get to our BPS Traffic Center with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark. Have a great weekend.
You too, Reese. Thank you very much. And if you're heading into Hartford right now...
All right.
Southbound 91.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, sir. That was a little heated.
Southbound
Roseanne was getting a little bit of heat there.
Yeah, I had to let him go.
You had to let him go? I
I
think he was getting a little personal.
Yeah, no, it's just because I could get the sense that he was being dismissive. So I was like, I gotta let him go.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell a host, yeah, you go do that. Like, come on now. Yeah, I get it. I know that's what comes with it, but after a certain point, you just gotta like, nah, let me shut this off.
Indeed. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you.
Y'all enjoy y'all weekend.
All right, dear. You guys.
Southbound Parkway delays from
Row to row, I got you.
tunnel and 95 southbound.
All right, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, and good on you. Thank you, everybody, for participating today in the chat room. Lively as usual. I hope the show is doing a service to you guys. You come here every day. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. Disagree or not. I really do appreciate you. It's I walk out of here every day feeling a little better about my day. And I'm very lucky and very fortunate. Like I said, please go to WTIC.com. They've actually put a page on there. I don't think I've ever felt more uncomfortable. And if I could...
You're the most humble, arrogant person I've ever met.
Yeah, isn't that weird, right? Like, you know what it is? There's a part of me that says, like, I saw it today. Roland was like, go see it today. It's on the website. And as soon as I saw it, there was a degree of me that said, I don't know if I deserve all of that. Like, that's way too much.
Why don't you let other people decide what you deserve, since you're uncomfortable with accepting what you deserve?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm proud of you, I think. Yeah.
I know.
Everybody should hear you all of the time.
Thanks, babe. I appreciate you. God, there was so much stuff we didn't get into. We're going to save it for Monday. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. Much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Everybody. Really, really, really. You have no idea. Love you. Susan, have a great weekend. We'll talk over the weekend. Susan and I are always on there. Lori, you too. We always go back and forth on Twitter. So I appreciate you guys. Always leave me a message. Go to ReeseOnRadio.com or just catch me on Facebook, which is where I am normally. All right? You guys be good. I love you. Stay out of trouble.